The Z to Z Podcast.
Good morning, good evening, or good day, and welcome to the Z to Z Podcast, the home for Xbox achievement hunters and gamerscore junkies. I'm your host, Brandon Freeman. Thank you so much for listening. At Z to Z, we love gaming, and in particular, grabbing achievements and gaining gamerscore. We do news, reviews, and interviews. If it's about achievements, we'll unlock it. The first week without Terrigan on the other side of the mic, and Randy decides to ditch me too. I'd say they're getting out of town for the 4th of July weekend, but that's not the case. Despite paperwork claiming he is a citizen, no red-blooded American drinks that much tea and plays that many foreign stacks. America. Well, as for this show, we begin with a great rotation of guest hosts, and given the announcement of the Xbox Fitness going down, we've got X Towers on board, and maybe not quite the traditional type of exercise, but we've got Damien as well, who certainly keeps those mouth muscles in shape. You know, you can find show notes for this show as well as previous shows on our website, z2z.com. This is episode 29. You can also contact us with questions and comments on Twitter. It's at Z2Z, Z-E-D-T-O-Z-E-D, or you can email us directly, contact@z2z.com. Today's show is brought to you by the challenge Fireworks Show from the game State of Decay Year 1 Survival Edition. This is the second year in a row that Undead Labs is running this challenge, and as with all challenges, this is time-specific and runs the entire month of July. The goal is to kill 100 zombies with explosives this month. Grenades and pipe bombs work as expected, but maybe less obvious is the propane tank. Use a flare to group the Zeds together and one-shot the tank. Kaboom! Special thanks to developer Undead Labs and publisher Microsoft Studios. And I am so looking forward to State of Decay 2, and I hope you all had a safe 4th of July and came back with all of your fingers still attached. Gaming is real hard with missing digits, especially with the Kinect being dead. But if you, our fantastic listeners, have a suggestion for an achievement sponsor, please let us know. You can contact us via Facebook, Twitter, of course, at Z2Z, Z-E-D-T-O-Z-E-D. That email address, contact@z2z.com. Or, you could even put it in a podcast review post. All right, and with me today, I've got two semi-regular voices, or at least you've heard them on the show before. Of course, you've heard Damien. He pops up all the time. How are you today, sir?
I'm like a bad penny, but I'm still here.
Still coming around. Can't get rid of him. And we also have, you heard him last on episode 2. He makes his triumphant return. It is X Towers.
Yay. I'm glad to be back. Super excited.
Garrett. Yeah, for sure. It'll be fun. So no Crandy this week. No Terrigan this week. I mentioned it in the intro. Don't know why, I should be the one we should be the one taking off. It's our country. It's our Independence Day this weekend. We should all be out of town and blowing off fingers. And instead, those two don't show up for the show. What the heck?
Don't worry. We have 3 days to blow off our fingers.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. Should be a lot of fun. Okay, so let's get some intro stuff taken care of. Just quick housekeeping things. This is the first episode of the Great Summer Spectacular that I mentioned last week. As you hear, we've got Damien, we've got Garrett, two non-regulars. We're going to be bringing people in left and right to try and cover, certainly find a new host to replace Terrigan and just get some new voices from the community up on the show. So if you guys are interested, anybody else out there who's listening and wants to try a crack at it this summer, this is a great opportunity. Just send us some messages and we can try and fit people in as best we can. If we'll see how things are going to end up working out. We've got a nice list of people who have already reached out or we have reached out to, and we are so excited to get them on board. So I'm not going to mention any names yet because nothing is finalized and nothing is recorded. So until that time, we're gonna hold off. But the anticipation, I'm sure, is exciting. This weekend also commemorates the start of the Bean Dive. And, I've seen a lot of some consternation out there of people who think this is a stupid yearly thing that everybody does. And then there's the other half who think this is a really fun, stupid event. I think we can all agree it's stupid, but either have fun being stupid, or you just get mad at being stupid. Where do you guys fall?
Well, yeah, I'm more in the fun category. It's not serious at all.
Damien, what about you?
I'm still recovering from one of my massive bean dives back in 2013. I will drop one game as part of just to get the participation badge.
Yeah, that's brilliant. The participation medal.
Yeah, exactly. Just like young kids and their soccer trophies. Yeah. I showed up.
Right?
I try to. Oh, go ahead.
My beans, I think I was the same thing. I don't know if it was 2013 or 2014, but I started at 72% and I dropped 130 games, plummeted me to 35%, of which I've recovered 6% of that. Because I just keep adding new games, right? The 130 was at one time, and since then I think I've added an additional 120. And then you may have seen in my blog, I currently have 290 games, or 240 games, that Terrigen has provided me through game sharing, as well as other avenues that I've purchased. So 240 unstarted, which means if I average that out, and it takes me 5 minutes, like some will be, 2 minutes, some will be 30 seconds, some will be 10 minutes. If I averages out to 5 minutes, that's still 20 hours worth of to put everything on my tag.
There's no way you can do that.
I'm just not ready to make that type of a commitment. I like the idea, and a lot because of that. Because I like that idea, I actually have a spreadsheet where I have my own. It's like all offline, and I've been putting all my achievements on it that calculates all this. So I'm still way behind on those games. I still have 46 games to add to that, like total or whatever. But ultimately, that would bring my percentage. Possibly, it's very close to 10%. It might even be single digits percentage.
Wow!
Because I got Halo Master Chief sitting there. Like that's a big one.
Yeah, I was actually looking at one of the things I do like that they added a while back on TA is where you can go to the period summaries, but then you can just change it to looking at the years. So I went back to 2013, and that was the year I started 223 games on my tag. And I mean, on average, I'm starting, just in an off year, not doing a real active bean dive, I'll start 90 games in the year. I think I'm trying to remember who said it a few weeks ago. I have this, just for me, it's not a matter, my completion percentage is arbitrary. It depends if you argue, well, all the games you have sitting on your shelf you've never started, they should become a part of that number. So, and besides that, completion percentage only matters on the site TA. But for me, it's a matter of just starting stuff. Like I start a game because I have some intention of either enjoying it or completing it. So for me, it's a matter of just completing stuff I start, because I hate going and doing 38 out of 40 achievements and looking at the 2 lingering ones going, man, I could do this. It's not like Guitar Hero, like I'm not going to do through the Fire and Flames on Expert. I'm not even going to try, but go through one more run through, or grab all the stupid flags in Assassin's Creed. It's annoying, but I could do it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I'm in the same boat. As I look at the list, my games collection, and like right now, I'm kind of curating some of this. So I'll mention as part of the Bean Dive, and Terrigen was going to give me his list for his the Balrog, right? Because that's his big thing this year, is the Bean Dive of all the little loved, rare, and overlooked games, right? That's the acronym. Yeah, it's fantastic. And so he's set up to do it, and like that's awesome. Like I like that. That's cool. And so his criteria was anything that was less than 300 users or 300 gamers who have played that game. Well, I don't think he put a time frame on it, because like he bought up all the new indie titles that just came out like in May and April, and it's like, well, of course they don't have that many people because they haven't been on sale yet. Like the first 50% sale, that number doubles probably. But anyway, and so like a lot of those titles have been added on here, and so he's got 160 games, over 160 games he wants to start for the Balrog, but he wants to do a complete Bean Dive with over 400 games. that, for like Games with Gold, other titles he's picked up, right? Like Quantum Break, he hasn't started. Mirror's Edge, I don't think he's started yet. Like those are definitely not rare or overlooked games. They're just new ones he hasn't started yet.
Yeah.
So like I'm going through his 160 and I'm like, okay, do I really even want to be associated with this game at all? Like, there's the Borderline one was Soul Axiom, right? And I'm looking at the gameplay, and I've been watching YouTube videos on all this gameplay, and I'm thinking, oh man, that's just there's 100 and or 200, 300 some other games. Like, does that look enticing enough to push some other game off that list? And I'm thinking, no, I don't want, I don't want to put that on my tag. So I'm pretending that doesn't exist, and I don't feel like that's part of my collection because it was gifted to me. But like, if somebody gives me a stupid looking hat, I don't feel obligated to wear it, right? Like, hey, here's your, like Christmas Story, right? The bunny suit that Ralphie wears. Like, come on, Yes, technically he owns that, but he didn't want that.
Yeah, but some of those ugly Christmas sweaters, man, are just epic, and you have to wear them. You're like, oh, that is so atrocious. I would never buy that for myself, but now that I have it, I have to wear it.
Do something with it.
Yeah, you got to.
And I'm kind of like the Tekken Tag Tournament 2, right? I hate fighting games. Ugh, technically, it's on my card because it was free.
Yep.
The Crew, right? That was just Games with Gold. And I don't really like racing games, so I don't really want that on my card. But I technically own it, so there's that fine line of I should almost take a list and kind of put it together to see like what games do I actually really want to do. And that's kind of my impetus behind that 93 titles that I put on my blog of like, that's my summer cleanup. And of course the summer is going to turn into next summer because I just won't be able to complete 93 games. But that's kind of my plan is like, I want to focus on these, get them just off my plate because I'm sick of looking at them, and then start subbing in new games like finishing up, Quantum Break or starting 7 Days to Die or, those types of things that I'm really excited about. Inside, right? I got to find a home for Inside. That might make a special place because it sounds just amazing.
Well, my whole thing with the Bean Dive, too, is I always like to see what kind of achievements I had available to me from the games that I haven't started yet. But now that TA allows you to just add them to your game collection without even popping an achievement, that kind of solves the problem for me.
Absolutely. And that was my thing, too. It is, and why I pushed for the My Games collection way back in the wishlist days, because I wanted that. And now that it exists, it's like, this is glorious. It's fantastic. I love the My Games collection. Still don't have the compare My Games collection feature yet, which I would love to do so that we can issue more challenges. But I want to give a shout out to a couple of Bean Dives that I know some of our community members are doing, and if you guys have your own Bean Dives that are listening to this podcast, we'd love to hear them. Send us a tweet, send us a private message, whatever. See what the damage was for our Z to Z community. But I know Jo, Angel SK, she's got a small 33 games to dive, but she's recovered from last year, so I think she's not as wantonly spending money as the rest of us. But we're trying to pile games on her tag. Spanky and Spronkle's got 167 he plans to dive according to his blog.
Wow.
So that's going to detract him from our Playing Zed challenge, I hope. And then Akaraba mentioned on Spanky and Spronkles, he has more, but he wants to start 333, and that will put him at 1,000 games played on his tag. That's his goal for this 10-day, or is it 10-day? 7-day challenge here.
Wow.
That's pretty crazy.
That is very crazy.
That's pretty darn crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, if you had time to game, like, that's a lot of games, but like, it can be done in a 3-day weekend.
You really have to pick and choose, though, because some of those games, like to pop one achievement, it takes like an hour.
Yeah, those are
Tomb
tough.
Raider. And when you get to one of those, it's so disheartening when you're like, I just need one achievement. Come on, give it to me.
Yep.
And you're waiting for like an hour or two.
I remember my 2014 dive I did in February, and there were games like that where it's like, man, I've played through all of the tutorial and the first mission, and finally got my achievement. Now it's like, well, I'm going to forget all this. I'm going to have to replay this hour and a half later. Like, that's just obnoxious. Especially the worst is trying to dive arcade titles, right? There's only 12 achievements.
Oh, yeah.
So like, some of them are pretty slim pickings.
Once they have that beautiful press start for achievement.
Yep. Oh, there's so many out
great.
there. Final thing I want to mention for kind of just housekeeping stuff is Joe, Angel SK, has asked me to issue a challenge to all the listeners out there. Now that she is starting her bean dive, she is excited to get into a Playing Zed challenge. So she requests that anybody who wants a piece of Joe to take her down a peg, look at her games collection there. She'll be up to date with everything. Then she's started them, and take a stab at one of those. I told her I would smack talk for her, but I don't know. I don't know how she would end up saying. What the English would say, the Brits. But yeah, she's going to just, for all of womankind, she's going to just pound you into submission on a Playing Zed challenge. So if you're interested, she's open to take requests, find something you guys can mutually agree on. And with that, we'll go into what we've been playing, because my Playing Zed challenge up against Spanking Sprockle started on Wednesday. And it's for BioShock. I'm finally going to get around to finishing BioShock. I played it for like an hour and a half. I only got one achievement so far, but I forgot how intense that atmosphere is, and like, so getting back into it and trying to relearn the controls quick. It's first person shooter, so that's not a big deal, but trying to remember how to use your plasmids and like where I was going at the time, because I purposefully stopped. I went to go get the camera for the Q achievement last year as part of the GTA ASC Alphabet Challenge. And I was like, oh, I don't want to forget all this stuff. So I'm just not going to save it, and I'll reload and just, start over, because I rushed through it.
Are we talking the original BioShock?
Yes.
The US version? Not like the Japanese back? You've never finished the original BioShock.
Never finished it.
Oh my god.
So now I'm moving into it, and now that I've played it for like an hour and a half, I remember that combat is, it's part of the game, right? But in the atmosphere is supposed to make you tense, a little jumpy, right? But it's a lot about the ambiance, but the mechanics aren't like super crisp, and so like they give you a lot of leeway with the combat. So my tensions have eased a little bit, knowing that I can be a little loosey-goosey with my shooting, and the main thing is just to not miss anything. And so I've been half looking at a guide, but I don't want to like ruin the experience, and so like I'll play ahead and then I'll read back a paragraph and be like, okay, did I miss anything? And then I'll play ahead, and so it's kind of slow going. Might have to like switch up my style there, but I'm having fun with it, and hopefully this weekend I can really focus and just pound away and hopefully not miss anything. That's the thing I'm nervous about. The other two things I've played this week, Project Spark. So Project Spark, I was just so sick of not having the Unstoppable achievement. I went through and kept replaying. So I replayed Karlsnor one more time. I replayed Scarlet one more time. And then I replayed Avalon. And after the second level, it popped. I don't know how I died in the second level with Avalon. That is the dumbest. Like, there's just no way.
How did you die with Avalon?
The easiest too.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, how did this not register?
You shoot and heal at the same time.
Like, you literally are almost indestructible.
Yeah.
Right. And for some reason, 1-2 did not unlock for Avalon.
That's
and
hilarious.
So that's why because I knew I finished the bosses without dying, and that's why I was like, I'm going to put her to the end, because I know I'm locked down on that one. Like, why would I even go back to that one? And I've retried it twice, and I know it never popped. And now finally, this time around, hey, there it goes. So Project Spark continues to hate me. And I should mention, though, now as a public service announcement, right? You likely have noticed that Project Spark servers have been a little questionable as of late. I'm told that as of recording, they are finally back up after 3 days being down. And those 3 days down, you'll hear in the comments, have negatively impacted a lot of people. So here's the thing. You don't want to wait on this, right? Because technically, we had Spark Thomas last week, and he said they are committed to keeping everything up and going till August 12th, right? That legally, that's what they need to do. Okay, well, the thing is, there comes a point of diminishing returns where somebody has to fix it if it breaks. And when there's like 2 weeks left and it breaks, it's going to be really hard for them to say, okay, how much time is that going to take? It's going to take you 15 hours or 10 hours to fix. Yeah, just let it idle. We're going down early. I'm very nervous that that's going to happen because of how questionable it's been here on the tail end, because there's nobody just constantly supporting it. So
I will confirm it is up right now.
That's
good. Right before recording, I tried it on both Win8 and Xbox, and it did connect. And earlier today, it was offline. But
so if you guys are close, I know a lot of the listeners have to do the streaks. A lot of the listeners have to do the weekly check-ins. Right? There's not much you can do about that. You just gotta keep poking away at it and stuff. But if there is anything else out there, the experience, the questing, coins, crossroads, whatever. Get on it now. Yep. Don't wait until August and try to do it last minute. I'm very nervous. You're not going to have that opportunity.
It's crunch time.
It is. You got a great opportunity here right after the Bean Dive and you finally get to listen to this show. Hopefully you got on top of that. The last thing is for X Towers, because it was your birthday last month. Happy birthday.
It was. Thank you.
So you posted in the Achievement Hounds forums that you're going to put your birthday tag, your gamer tag, up as a birthday. And X's are a little tricky to come by. And so I went back and revisited XCOM Enemy Unknown. I had 5 achievements left in that game. 4 of them are the ridiculous ones. But there was the 5th one that I knew I'd get during normal gameplay, and so I just left it. But I've kind of abandoned the other 4. And so it was to shoot down 40 UFOs. And so I just reloaded an old game and then I just let the world go into disrepair while I just kept shooting down UFOs. I think I had to take down like 12 more or something. I think I lost like 4 countries and, 2 continents to, the alien menace. But got that achievement, got the X for X Towers, and there we have it. So that was not a big week for me. Like, I literally scored 3 achievements. I haven't done much. It's been again pretty darn busy. But let's see, X Towers. What about you? What have you been up to this week?
Well, I mean, I've been playing Project Spark. I completed it on June 17th, so it's been over a week. But yeah, I've been chipping away at that since I noticed that the servers were going down. But yeah, I finally completed it. I just wanted to mention it because I was having some problems with the Conquer stuff. So specifically the shooting part of it in the...
That minigame's tough.
Oh, it's just kind of ridiculous. So the controls are a little jumpy.
Yeah, you're just fighting the controller the whole time.
Yeah. But what helped me out, and I just wanted to mention it for everybody else, is going into the Xbox accessories app and then switching the X button and the LB button. So basically you're switching your reload button over to LB. So that way when you're moving your right stick around to aim, you don't need to actually move your thumb off of that right stick. You can just, keep looking and reload at the same time, which helped me out a ton. And it took me, I don't know, I think it was 12 to 15 tries to get that, but I finally got it, and I put that whole game to rest on both platforms, which was super awesome. I'm glad to be done with it. But other than that, I've been playing Magic Duels Origins and Xbox Fitness, and I've not been... These are free games, and I have just the really hard, grindy achievements left. So I've just kind of been mixing in some Goat Simulator and Minecraft to keep my streak alive, which I think is over 2 years now. I've been keeping a streak alive.
Nice. That's impressive.
It's been a while. It's a routine now. Yeah. It's like I go to bed and I'm like, wait, I don't think I popped an achievement, and I can't fall asleep until I do.
Do you like to try and get it ahead of the day, or like? Now that you're
Yeah.
a homebody, right? You got a family, right? You don't travel anywhere. It makes life a little easier. But you got that phone too.
Yeah, I've got my Windows Phone to help whenever on vacation and stuff. But yeah, I mean, in the morning, if I get a chance, I'll sit down and try to pop something quick. But usually I have some time in the evenings if I miss something during the morning. And it's usually not a problem, especially when I have like easy games like Goat Simulator or Minecraft. Most of the achievements, there's a lot of achievements, and most of them are really easy to get. So just go pop one
Right.
if you're working on something else.
For
But
sure.
yeah, that's been about all I've been playing.
And we'll get into more Xbox fitness talk later.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Damien, what about you? What have you been up to?
I have to kind of scroll back here because I think the last thing I just dove was that Phoenix Furia for playing
Oh, yep.
on this
Shovelware.
So I also touched on both Project Sparks. I got my mythical creator done, so I got my level 50. So I'm only left with, as of today, because it's Friday, and I got another week done, I only need 2 more weekly challenges, and that's it. And so I pop them on the Win 8, load up my Xbox One, watch this tracker go up the 10%,
Yeah.
and then I don't touch it again for a week. So I've touched it today. I don't care if it goes down for 4 days of the week. Just get it up at some
Back Friday.
point next
All right.
week. That's all I want, Thomas. Just 2 more weeks of it, and then everybody else. So part of the so knowing that the Bean Dime's coming up and just trying to go through a backlog, I've been trying to do some more cleanup. So I realized I had started Ridiculous Marathon on Windows 8. I trudged through that piece of garbage on the phone. So I've gone back to Windows 8. However, I had started it so long ago on the phone, my scores are not on the leaderboard, so I have to go grinding that entire game again, which it's glitchy.
Gross.
Half the things don't track. You can't do daily challenges. Oh, it's a mess. But I'm down to the last few achievements, so I'm just waking up in the morning and just kind of grinding through. I just got the all of the challenges done. So tomorrow, to continue my streak in the morning, I'm going to buy the +5 multiplier, and that'll pop that achievement, and then I can just run through and just start hoarding coins and figure out what my next one will be. But I actually decided to start playing a game for fun.
No
God.
way.
I got
Interesting.
Deadpool. I got Deadpool for 360 because I loved the movie, and I was like, I hear the game was actually, I don't know. I've heard mixed reviews on the
Decent.
games, but people that love the movie seem to say, yeah, it was a really good game. So I've gone back and I've been playing that, and that game was awesome, and it's hysterical. It's Deadpool.
Is that Platinum? That's Platinum, isn't it? Who did that? Who did
Heavy Iron.
Heavy Iron? What the hell did they do?
Oh, they did something
But
else.
it is essentially a hack and slash, right?
Oh no, High Moon. High Moon is what I'm
High
thinking.
Moon, that's right.
They did Born
Transformers.
Conspiracy and Transformers.
Transformers is what I'm thinking of.
Okay. Yeah, so I've been working through that, so that's actually fun. So I'll put up a few hundred a day. And then what happened? Something happened. Yeah, then they announced the whole Xbox Fitness thing, so I've been working through. I got the last DLC pack are the only 3 achievements I have left in Xbox Fitness. Unfortunately, I did legit. That's my Everest. So my peak performance is only at 11%. So I somehow have to do 9 more. That's my Everests.
Oh,
I
jeez.
run regularly. I'm just kind of miffed that there's not. Out of all things, if you're going to have something to run 1,000 kilometers, could you just have made a 20-minute running program so I could just run for 20 minutes?
Right.
I'd do it outside. I'd get a treadmill. I'd do it in front of the Kinect, whatever. But instead, don't get me started. So
It's
working on
hours
that.
and hours and hours of jump squats.
Yeah. Oh, it's awful. So I saw the other day I ended up with my 1,825 day achievement streak, and then I popped a 700,000 TA score. So I'm like, you know what? I'm really close. I can actually have another milestone, and if I complete one more game, I'll pop I think it was like 560 completed games. So
yeah, that's right.
yeah, so I started Fat City for Xbox One because you're like, hey, that's a 2 to 3 hour game, but turns out with wife, kid, and kid on the way. You know what? I didn't have 2 to 3 hours to dedicate in front of the TV. For some reason, people get really mad after a while of going, where are your priorities? Obviously with Xbox, not you guys.
Right?
I know.
Yeah,
Speaking of which, if it's almost midnight here, so...
Yeah, so you could be gone at any moment.
It is. Actually, Big L was messaging me on Xbox, and he was making some comment about Randy. And then I'm like, well, we're recording right now. He's like, well, don't get in trouble with the wife this time. I'm like, thanks. Thanks.
Yep.
Good right now. Air conditioners are on, so they can't hear me.
There you go.
Oh, good.
Well, and actually, now that you mentioned that, it bothered me listening back to last episode because we recorded the interview with Spark Thomas and some of the beginning stuff with Terrigan, but then it just got too late, and so we had to finish Crandy and I recording later. Sorry, this is all behind the scenes stuff, right? But my voice was so distinctly different because I was in whisper mode at my mother-in-law's house, and I was like trying to talk like this, and so I didn't want anyone to wake up upstairs. But I'm like, that's not how I normally talk. Like, I'm loud, I emote, my hands flail all over the place. Like, so when I'm in my basement, right, I can actually be myself and talk. And so listening to that, it was like, knowing that that's what I was doing, I was like, oh my God, Freem, you just sound like an idiot. So I apologize if that bothered anyone else. I know it bothered me. Likely other people didn't care quite as much, but... So 2 more things I forgot to mention. So Terrigan snuck in his little Balrog list here. I told him he was 6 minutes late, but he insisted that we mention it. He actually put in his blog. So the grand total, 442 games. So if you're interested, take a look at ZZ Urban Spaceman's blog. He's got the full list on there, and he has already started. He started a new gamer tag called Beandive 2016 that he's going to friend his current account with, right? So he can watch the whole thing happen. I think that's what he's going to end up doing with it. But anyway, there you have it, guys. That's the recap. Hey, let's move into listener feedback. We got quite a bit to cover, and I'd be remiss if we did not touch back on some iTunes reviews we got. We finally got our little program to tell us who we missed. And so we'll start with one we missed on June 6th. It was a 5-star review from Johan out of Sweden. His gamer tag, Fad Gadget, which is a great name. He says, my favorite podcast about Xbox gaming in general and achievement hunting in particular. A must listen if you're into achievements and is looking for more deep information such as games from different regions, stacking, and etc. So thank you, Johan, for that. I really appreciate that. We also got a 5-star review from Koosh Moose on June 10th, and that was here in the U.S. I don't know how I missed that one. He said, hands down, the best podcast for finding out about achievement hunting and staying motivated. I really appreciate their care not to spoil game story, especially when talking about games that are well beyond the spoiler date. That's a good point, Koosh. I never even considered that, but we actually do a decent job of not just ruining the end of games, even though they're 360 only games and stuff. So, yeah, appreciate those reviews. And if you listeners out there want to submit a review, oh my gosh, that helps out so much. Really helps promote the show. You already do so much to help. That would be great. I got a private message from my friend, another fellow Minnesotan, Garrett.
Hey.
Nexus Plexus, and he says, hey, man, I really enjoyed the Rain Cloud versus Sunbeam portion of the show. It was a refreshing E3 perspective. I think that was kind of pretty popular amongst most people about Randy and I going at it. I can't possibly consider his point of view. He is ridiculous when it comes to negativity, and so somebody's got to fight it. Fight the good fight.
There you go.
And just polar opposites, you two. Get them together.
Something like that. But then, yeah, I listened to Joe and Terrigan, too, and it was like, man, Depressing City, they were unhappy about everything, too. Like, gosh, don't you guys like games? So many games. Who cares if they're going to be delayed? I'm already 2 years behind on my games.
No
so.
I think it's just trying to find the balance in between. I mean, I don't know. I work with the stuff, and it's that I like to look forward to games, but there's part of that overhype part of it where you're just peel back the overhype and just be honest with me. That's all I want.
You got to be just reasonable about it, though. Like, hey, Dead Rising 4, it's going to be a lot of fun. But you know what? If I don't play that until 2020, I'll be okay. I'll survive.
I still need to finish Dead Rising 3. I still got to get that DLC done.
Right. So, it's things like that. Like, oh, yeah, boy, I'm really excited for this game. Or like Inside, right? I'm really excited to play Inside. But you know what? I'm really want to focus on BioShock. And so the earliest I'll play it is on July 15th. So, you know what? If I haven't bought it by then, I'm going to buy it on July 15th. And when this is over, and I'll spend a week, a day that week doing it. Like, it's okay. It's okay to wait. The only problem is avoiding spoilers on the internet.
That's why you just don't read the internet.
That's why I'm trying to rush through Game of Thrones. That's what I've been doing that's what I've been spending all my time doing on Project Spark. I've been grinding out levels and streaming Game of Thrones on my computer. So I've been catching up on my TV. That's why I haven't unlocked any achievements. That all makes sense now.
Dirty little secret: I've never watched a single episode of Game of Thrones.
It's really good.
I just hear everybody dies.
That is true.
Much, yeah.
But like the character, I was trying to convince my wife again. I'm like, man, this would be really great for us to watch. And we've mentioned this before. And again, she's like, I don't think I can handle all of the violence.
You know what though was good that my wife really enjoyed? Mr. Robot.
Oh yeah, I just saw that on Amazon Plus, right?
Amazon Prime, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Season 1. It's an amazing show.
Awesome. Let's get back to the private messages here. We got one from B. Smittle regarding Randy's ridiculous take on Project Scorpio, comparing it to the 32X. He says, I think I got Neo delayed after E3. Sony played chicken with Microsoft, and Scorpio came out with stats that blew it away, and the Neo, I think, is being reworked. That's a common conspiracy theory. That's my part. The rest of his comment is, hey, thanks for the shout out on the show. I'll just say a 32X game would never run on a regular Genesis, even with a graphics downgrade. And from what Microsoft is pitching to the consumer is games will run on my current Xbox. Of course, this is all subject to change. Smiley face. And good luck to you, Terrigan. So I've heard that as well, Smittle. B. Smittle. All right, I wonder if it's BS Middle. I think it's B. Smittle. That Neo, they were going to end up announcing anyway after Microsoft, and so they kind of pulled their cards back and said, okay, well, rumors are that Neo's or the Scorpio is going to be announced, so let's see what this is and when it's coming out or what the plan is, and they were caught by surprise. Unfortunately, I don't think that's the case because we had heard the week prior. Well, I guess it still could be the case, but we had heard the week prior that Sony was not going to be showing Neo, and whether or not Microsoft's information about the details on Scorpio had been outed by somebody to Sony, I'm just not sure they would have pulled the whole thing. But a lot of people just said, when they were watching the Sony press conference, it just felt weird. Like something was out of place, like what they tacked on at the end. It just didn't seem like that flowed. And that's where they thought maybe the Neo announcement was going to be. And so they had to like scramble and put something in there. What do you guys think? Do you adhere to that conspiracy theory?
I don't know, man. The rumors, I just try not to pay attention to them,
I didn't watch Sony's press conference. I have no comment.
Let's just take the premise then. I mean, do you think it was in it? Let's say it's true. Would it have been in Sony's best interest to at least match what Microsoft is projecting? And if that means going back to the drawing board, not making the announcement, or still making the announcement but keep it vague and then say, oh yeah, well, we'll match what Microsoft is doing?
I would say not, just given what happened when the Xbox One was announced originally and how that just got lambasted on, even after everything got changed and Microsoft did an about face.
Yep.
People would look at the console sales between the two and say, if Microsoft had never made that initial announcement, none of that. They might actually have a larger market share coming off of, they were number one with the 360.
Yeah, but PlayStation gained ground real quick on that generation.
Yeah.
Because of the Blu-ray player. People wanted the Blu-ray. And among other things. But the more powerful hardware was always the easy sell for, John Q off the street. Grandma comes in and says, what do you want? A gaming system? What's the best one? Well, PlayStation's more powerful. That's the one I want. Yeah, but Xbox is got a fantastic software library and an amazing live service and, just it's better controller and whatever. There's lots of reasons I like Xbox better than PlayStation. And to be honest, and Grandma didn't ask where Johnny's friends are,
right.
So they went with PlayStation.
Yeah, and what you mentioned is entirely plausible. It's basically a two-horse race. Nobody wants to be last place.
Except if you're Nintendo.
Nintendo's just happy doing their thing.
Nintendo?
They're still
you mean the DS, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
It's me, Mario.
Hey, don't worry, Xbox and PlayStation. We've got the mobile market covered.
Yeah.
We've got the handhelds. Don't even think about coming into handhelds.
They couldn't touch it.
That's ridiculous.
Windows Phone.
Fantastic. We've got a few other comments here, and one is in regards to Spark Thomas. Obviously, he was on the show last week. We really appreciate him taking his time. Facial LaFleur made a comment on my friend feed saying, okay, wait a minute. Spark Thomas joins the show, and then the servers for his game go offline, breaking my Fortnite streak. Thanks a lot, crying face.
He took his hand off the Project Spark button for just a second.
He did, right? The hamster wheel that kept Project Spark servers up. I'm sorry if that was our fault. We didn't mean to, derail what the plan was. But you'll have to. Hopefully, you can still get it. That's 14 days. Don't pull a Freem. You're running out of days.
No kidding.
All right. This was way back in the day, but I think we've moved it back and forth, but we've pushed it back long enough, and we want to touch back onto it here from Cinecide, and he has a question about completions. So there's a little bit of a back and forth here between Cinecide and Big L. I'll go through, and then we can chime in on it. So Cinecide says, "Hey, I feel like I haven't completed a game until I complete all its variations." As such, like the German version or Japanese version. What do you guys think? Do you agree that that's the case? And if so, would it bother you to complete a game such as BlazBlue Calamity Trigger on Windows 8 when it is the same title as BlazBlue Calamity Trigger on the 360? But it has different achievements. Is that a variation? And is it uncompleted a stack of game if you do not do both? Thanks again, guys, and keep up the good work. So let's start there, and we can go into what Big L says. But what do you guys think? How do you treat your stacks? Does that impact your completion concept? What about you, X?
Yeah, not really. I recognize that there's other versions out there, but if I just want to say I beat a game, I think I only need to do it on one version, But as far as maybe completing a whole series of games, then I think I want to branch out and get all those stacks as well. Then I can say I completed the series. Yeah, Damien, do you agree?
Yeah, going back to TA, now that they have the series thing, you can actually, the default setting's only to show one variation, but for example, Disney Infinity, not only did I beat 1, 2 on both 360 and 1, did 3 on 361, Windows 8, and then the DLC. So yeah, there's that. When I'm doing a collection, I try to hit every variation, but I don't just because now if I have it, like I was in Germany and I picked up the German version of BioShock, German version of a few of the titles, and same thing, like if I have people sending me games from Japan, I've gotten Conan Japan, because if I'm going to go through Conan, it's easier for me to go and just do all the stacks at the same time, because it's okay, I know the game, I can do the control, okay, I just ran through this level, all right, let's do it again, so versus, because some of those games, I mean, they're not bad, they're not super hard, but like I just did Wanted Weapons of Fate German, and it'd been 3 years since I played the game on the 360 for the US, and it's kind of that, oh, I forgot how bad this is. Like Aragon. It's not, I don't know. I know Elle has this piece on Aragon, which it was not fun having to run through it twice just to complete one variation and then just to go through and do it again. But hey, it's doable. But yeah, there's nothing compelling me that I have to do the stack. But I have the German, or I have a PAL console. I have a Japanese console. Part of the reason of having multi-region consoles is about doing stacks.
Yeah. I'm totally the same way, guys. I mean, if I'm going for a series completion, then yeah, you better believe it. You got to go get those weird ones. Those count, right? That's a series completion. To me, that's not terribly important, and I look at individual titles that I own. I don't feel compelled to go out and buy titles just to complete a series, but I do want to complete the games I have. And so, if I only own Disney Infinity on the One, I'm not going to feel bad if the 360 one's sitting there untouched. No. I might, if there's crossover, I might be compelled to go back and pick it up because I'll get the split, like Destiny, right?
Yeah.
Once I finish Destiny, it's like, oh yeah, it'll be great. I'll just find the 360 version because they transfer over. I don't have to do it again.
Project
but
Spark.
I really don't want to. Yeah, I don't really want to play games twice unless they're like just amazing, like Limbo, right? That's a short game. I have it on the 360 and the One. I don't mind playing that one twice because game was awesome.
I picked up both versions of Shadow of Mordor, and I have the 360 one as well.
Yeah.
Because I love that game.
Yeah, so, and that kind of goes into what Big L says on this comment. He says, Cinecide, to each his own, I guess. I don't see why after finishing Guacamelee, for example, on the One and going to do it again on the 360. If you liked it enough and want to do it again for points or for fun, that's cool. But it doesn't make the One version any less complete, especially when there are plenty of other games to play and new experiences to be had. Cinecide replies to Big L, heavy price paid will always remind me of the good old Xbox Live times, before the times of gamer scoring, music. In regards to stacks, I see how it counts as a completion if you only do one game, hence it's done. It just bothers me that the game still has achievements I haven't gotten because of different variations. So he's like thinking of because doesn't BioShock have one less achievement than the German version has one less achievement?
Yeah, it doesn't have the DLC or something. Yeah.
So it's like, if you only completed the German version, would you feel like you completed it? Because technically the US version has a little bit something extra that you don't have.
It depends what my home region is. If I was German.
Yeah. In that instance, it's like, okay, maybe, but still, that's the one I own. That's the one I've completed. Now, if I went and liked it and wanted to play it again, I would go ahead and go for that double up. But I'm not a big stacks guy. It's just not my thing. Probably because I don't have enough time to do any of that.
I was going to say,
go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, I'm sitting here speaking of BioShock. I have the Japanese version that I dove for, I think, one of the alphabet challenges as well when I was doing an NG task. And so I have to sit back there and go play through the German port, or not German, Japanese port. And I still had the German port to do as well. And you're like,
do you want to join in on our little challenge here? Smag, you want to play catch up? We got to the 15th. Can you complete it? You see if you can blow past us? How many achievements did you start with? I think we were both at 11 or 12.
I'd have to look on the I got to the camera. I got to the camera to get the splice.
Oh, yeah. And that's exactly where I was.
Yeah.
That's exactly where I was. Join in on the fun.
Yeah, if not, I can always pick up another variation and just play the Korean one.
There you go.
Start.
Well, like Crandy said last episode, he wants to do the 360 version of Wolfenstein against me on the One. So it's on my list, Crandy. I'm definitely going to hit you up on that. Just don't start it yet. I'm not ready. Finally, last comment. We do have a couple questions, but I want to say this comment because I was quite surprised when I saw this on Twitter. But it's Twitter name Sandy, Twitter handle @Crandy's mom. And said, at Z to Z, hey, sorry to hear Tarragon is no longer hosting. Randy confirms that is actually his mom. So,
Oh my gosh.
so Mrs. Crandy, Mrs. 2727. We appreciate you listening to the show, and yes, we will miss Terrigan being part of the show. You will hear his charming voice in this episode, actually, because he will be doing his leaderboard recap. It is the start of a new month, so Big L, you can skip it, and Crandy's mom, you can listen right along with the rest of us.
It almost reminds me
Nice.
of that. What was that song? Not Stifler's mom.
Stacy's mom.
That's
Randy's
it.
mom has got it going on.
Oh my God, Terrigan, find that and put it in here. All right, let's get to some questions. I had a bunch of questions on my friend feed. Let's go through these. We got Mick Love and Legend says, hey, what keeps you guys motivated? I've had a week off and I need to get scoring again. I assume he had a week off of gaming and not a week off of work. Because if you had a week off of work and didn't score anything, I would say you must have been in a coma.
Filthy
Because,
casual.
right. I look for. I actually left work early one day to come home and just get a quick hour of gaming in because I knew I'd have to go to bed early. Motivation, really. So my primary thing of motivation is this humongous backlog I have, and then I spend most of my day at work fantasizing about what games I'm going to play when I get home. Well, it's like, okay, what can I do tonight? Oh my gosh, yeah, I should do that. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Yeah, I know. It sounds like I'm watching dirty movies, right, in my head, and to me, it's just like, oh yeah, I get to play some Destiny. I got to do my dailies in Rayman. Jump on a Project Spark real quick, and then you know what? I got 45 minutes. I'm totally gonna play some BioShock. And I just psych myself up all day. So then when that doesn't happen, so like for instance tonight. I wanted to get a couple things done before recording on the show, but we went out, did some shopping, which we're broke, so we're really stressed out about how much money we spent. And then we get home, kids still need baths. It's 9:30, trying to get them ready for bed. And I'm just like getting salty. I'm like, man, God, these kids, this wife,
The ones are for
that
them.
Xbox is right. This Xbox is sitting down over there, so lonely, and it just needs me to just come and say hi to it today. And I'm gonna have to wait until 2 a.m. when we finish recording and go just give it a little pat on the head and play some Project Spark. But so that's my motivation. Is I got so much I need to do, and I just relish every chance I get because it's so limited. I assume with people who have more time, it gets maybe a little bit harder to get motivated when you know you have 8 straight hours to play stuff. But maybe not. What about you, Damien?
Well, yeah, so I have the luxury, quote unquote, of working from home a lot of the times, and I'm stuck on conference. I would almost go back to listen to the Smirnov interview, and that's kind of half of my life, sitting on conference calls. So you're just muted out, turned around, playing whatever, pop something, streak's done. I think for me, a lot of it's just my daily streak. I have 2 motivators. One, just my streak at this point, I think I have to get up to 1851, and then I'm as high as I'll get unless somebody stops. But it's I have a goal for myself of 50,000 gamer score a year, which I have to put up 20,000 more by the end of year, which means 20 completed retail games, puts me about 120 gamer score per day. So
It's not too bad.
yeah, if I can,
Quite doable.
yeah. Oh no, exactly. Especially with a lot of the ID at Xbox titles. I mean,
Absolutely.
you can burn through those kinds of numbers now. So
Well, and as of recording, we are officially halfway through the year. So, as long as you got 25,000 now, in theory, you should, be able to match that.
yeah, I'm at 30,000 already for the year. So yeah,
You're ahead of the game.
exactly.
Head of the game.
So and so for me though, it's that balance of family with that, because I do find there's that. I mean, this is game, not Xbox. I mean, Xbox is just the marriage of my obsession with collecting vintage games and kind of that growing up and having that, oh, I did such and such in a game. Like I remember I was talking to somebody about, I was doing Super Mario World, Super Mario 6, but even Super Mario World, and going through and getting every single star and completing Star Road, or Super Mario Galaxy, and I got to get every stupid yellow star. Why? Because they put them there, and because.
Right.
And so
And they track them.
yeah, and so when they married this metadata where you can say, I did this in a game, really prove it. Well, here here's the achievement for it. It was like, oh, this is perfect. So it kind of, I mean, my wife gets, hung up about it, but I'm like, gaming has always been my hobby. If I wasn't playing Xbox, I'd still be playing something. That's what I've always done.
Right.
Maybe I won't be playing it every day, but I've been playing consoles and games since I can remember. So, I think the thing is with having a small objective, even if it's just pop one achievement and keep a streak, it gets you through those times. Yeah, because there's days where I'll just pop a 5 gamer score and I'm just like, I can't be bothered to do anything else. I'm busy with work. I'm just not in the mood. But, as long as there's that little lifeline, as long as it's not a flatline death, I find it comes back.
Yeah. Yeah, just give it some time. What about you, X?
Yeah, it's mostly routine for me nowadays. It's like Damien said, just keeping that streak alive.
Yeah.
But it's also some of these daily tasks
right.
in the games,
Check-ins.
like the dailies, yeah. So it was like that for Project Spark for a while. Now it's Magic Duels because you have to do 500 daily quests in order to complete it. So that's, a year and a half. I better keep on that, or otherwise I'm never going to complete it, But I'm finding lately it's been server closures that have been keeping me motivated.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, Project Spark and now Xbox Fitness. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's what's wanting me to keep going on some of these games.
Yeah, I should find this article. It wasn't even an article. It was a presentation some woman did about kind of the motivation behind gaming. And I think it was a talk at UCLA. Well, I'll find it and put it in the show notes, but it's fascinating. We should have a show about it because it's really interesting. But she talks about that feeling you get when you complete a game, or she called it the epic win scenario. And so she shows images of these, adolescent boys playing games, and the look on their face is like, I just watched something on Twitter. Kotaku ran it about some dude who figured out this ARG Ascendance or something, and he found like the super secret thing, and like we got to watch his reaction on Twitter, and he freaked out. Like he had like a meltdown. It was like amazing what he, in his mind, what he did. And of course, I've never heard of the game, so I don't know what it is. But you get to see his reaction, and it's like that level of pleasure, excitement, satisfaction, triumph, like all of those things that play into the satisfaction you get from video games is immense. And she ties it back to like things that are so menial and pointless, right? Dailies, for instance, or Project Spark, right? If you're setting up macros to do things, or going in and changing appearance on your character, right? If you're changing the color, moving things around, you're getting him a black shirt with a black hat, brown boots, whatever. That is no different than manipulating data on a spreadsheet. If you're into accounting, or you're balancing books, or you're doing something at work that involves spreadsheets, you're pretty much playing a micromanaging game, right? It could be World of Warcraft. You could be min-maxing your Division character. And you're essentially doing the same things you do at work, but why is that work and doing in the Division is that fun? It's because when you put the time into it, you get rewarded through either achievements or new loot, or you're stronger, you kill guys faster. You get the feedback loop of saying, you know what, yeah, I put that time in and I put a ton of work in, right? And I finally overcame that boss. And boy, that feels really good. Yep. Whereas normal work, you rarely get the type of admiration. Oh yeah, I busted my butt and I worked 16 hours and I got that batch finished and I oversaw that validation and so what do I get? Oh yeah, here's $3 in vending machine bucks. For thank you. You get a candy bar on us, and it's like big old middle finger your way. That's not the type of satisfaction. Even like a hey, great job, that you did really strong work, I appreciate that, goes a lot further than some sort of half-handed gesture. And the other thing is, you might get credit for something you barely did any work on. Like, yeah, I half-assed a memo today. Hey, great memo, really thorough, good job,
dude. You totally own that pivot table.
right?
Never,
And it's
never.
like those types of things, so they don't line up, and so you don't get the satisfaction in your brain that you do when you play video games. And so it's a fascinating talk, and that's really that's the motivation, is you typically get out what you put in. And so for us achievement hunters, the bleep bloop, boy, that feels real good, doesn't it? Even if it's something stupid like pressing start, you're like, yeah, I pushed that button like a boss.
Yeah.
Anyway, so cool. That's the great question, McLovin. That was a lot of fun. Let's move on. Speaking of server closures, Disney Infinity 3.0. We had nothing on the schedule yet, but Lord Chabello asks, "Hey, did you guys see all the canceled Disney Infinity guys? Hera, Moana, Maui, Doctor Strange, Spider-Gwen. There's a bunch of things, and so I went and tracked these things down for the Disney Infinity characters." He says, "I wish the franchise would continue. Those characters looked really cool." I always enjoyed the level of detail, a little cartoony, but like they were well made. They looked really cool. I think Spider-Gwen was awesome. I don't know if you guys saw an image of her. She's like standing on like a chimney with her, like, it's this cool looking hoodie. Like, I mean, she looks like a sweet little figure. And it's such a bummer that they're pulling out of this business, because they made some really cool figures. And we can talk another show about why we think this thing failed, or they're pulling out of it. But It's really disappointing that they're not going to just kind of execute their current plans, that they pulled the plug midstream here.
Well, that's Disney. I mean, they're not going to. I mean, not naming company, but I know my company. They have a tendency, if we're not going to be number one, number two in an industry, we don't do it. And I think that, Disney looks at it and goes, the additional money they would invest into putting out figures. I mean, you see it now, or what GameStop has it right now with Skylanders. You can get all these characters for $5. They're just trying to.
Oh yeah.
There's a saturation on the market, so Disney's like, okay, if we're going to put up this much more money to invest in these things, what's our return on that investment? It's Disney. We're going to go invest it somewhere else. Yeah,
that makes sense. You think, though, with that, I don't even know what movie is coming out that's that Maui movie. Have you heard of that at all? I've never even seen that.
Idea.
You know what?
Yeah,
if
so
my
it's like
wife
this-
wakes up and gets down here really mad, I'll ask her if that's like, hey, look at this character. Which Disney movie? Because she's a Disney fanatic. So.
She's a Disney fan.
Yeah. Well, I saw the images of them, and boy, the level. It's going to be a playset, like a Finding Dory type playset. Full-on world and something. And so, I mean, it appears as though it's like some Tongans, or some West Indies type people, who they are the Polynesians, right?
Yeah.
That area. Beautiful tropical landscape, grass skirts, that whole thing.
Okay, Moana
And
is
I
actually
see-
the name of the 2016 animated musical. It'll be the 56th film in the Disney animated library.
Oh, so it is coming out this year.
Yeah, it's November.
It's a musical?
Well, no, so you know how Disney has their annual movie with like the Beauty and the Beast, all that.
Yeah.
That's this year's.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured that. You said it was classified as a musical.
Yeah, 'cause it's
I know
gonna have
there's
its
typically
songs.
music associated.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I haven't heard anything about it, or what it's about. It looks just gorgeous. It'll follow the Disney Pixar type, just beautiful animation. Anyway, so yeah, I agree. They looked cool. It's a bummer. You think that would help cross promote the movie though, or is the movie going to be such a monster that the people aren't going to care? Did the Frozen stuff not perform that well in the movie? It was just, they were better off selling coloring books instead of Disney Infinity playsets.
Well, I think for some of it now, you're not going to probably go out and buy Disney Infinity 3.0 just to play Moana. You would have to have already owned Infinity 3.0, and then you go and see Moana, and you're like, yeah, I want Moana to add it to my library. And chances are, at this point, they're like, Infinity 3.0 is now, what will it be, over a year since its release. At this point, it's, they're probably not going to capitalize on the sales of those playsets, because most of these movies would target to, say, the 6 to 12-year-old demographic. And at that point, they're not the ones going out and buying Infinity 3.0. It's their parents. And they're not, now there's that disconnect of, well, that game came out a year ago. Oh, well, here's this playset for it. But if you didn't own that playset because you're a 9-year-old and you weren't asking for it a year ago because you, quite frankly, didn't care about Star Wars and Marvel, Disney probably saying, you know what, we're not going to sell enough. And they probably were so far down the pipe with Finding Dory that, okay, fine, just put it out. We're done.
Right. Makes sense. I mean, yeah, it's all business, right? There's a dollar associated with it, and they're going to make the right business decision. They're actually going to eat it if they don't have to.
It's all about the paper.
Hey, I'm happy I got my
Bingo.
Boba Fett.
Yeah, that's right. Still got that one. All right. Another Fred Feed question from Mike92. He says, hey, so what are your guys' plans for the crazy fall releases? I currently am going back and cleaning up all of my games that I haven't put much time into. So along with that, what are the games you're planning on buying this fall? Personally, I've planned to purchase every collector's edition and every game that is coming. Wow.
Must be nice to be made of money.
Right?
No kidding.
I wish I had that problem. Boy, what's coming out this fall that I'm going to buy this fall? To be honest, I'm not even sure. There's a game that I have to get this fall that I can't just wait until it goes on sale.
Right.
That's the thing. When you're sitting on 300 some games, things become less of dire need at that point. But yeah, we just had our E3 show. So hot off the heels of that, do you guys have anything that you're just chomping at the bit to get? I mean, we're not Call of Duty guys. We don't need the new Call of Duty. Or Halo Wars 2. Do you guys feel the need to get on that real quick? What Gears of War 4? What?
I still got to do Seriously 1.
Nothing.
I was going to say, for me, nothing. I don't buy. I'll pass on things at the Target clearance now unless I can get some awesome Black Friday sale. And I'll usually end up doing that with Skylanders or one of those for, our son. We'll find whatever it is. If you can get it 40, 50% off right around that time, which they'll sometimes do just to clear it out, then grab it that way. But there's nothing I would go out and pay $60 for right away when, as you said, I have hundreds of games that I haven't even started.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to get Forza Horizon 3 because that looked really nice. But that'd be the only thing on my list.
I thought you said Forza 3, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that came out already. Forza Horizon 3. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, yes, it is a hot new upcoming game, Forza 3.
Right? Don't get roped into that one. All right, I'm looking through my E3 list. So here's some things I might be close on. Much further would be Titanfall 2. I'm really stoked for that game, but I can wait on that one. Especially since it's multiplayer heavy. I'm going to wait till the servers are all perfect and good and maybe some of that DLC comes out. And, it'd be nice to get on early to beat up on all the noobs, but I'll just be part of the Christmas scrubs or something.
There you go.
And get wailed on. One that unfortunately I am going to buy, I just realized, I will buy if it has achievements, and I'm pretty darn sure it will. The Destiny Rise of Iron expansion. I'm on board. I am pot committed at this point. And so, yeah, there's going to be achievements, and I'm going to end up buying that, I'm sure. South Park. That one I really want, but I'm going to have to wait because I haven't even finished the other one. But I did put the Stick of Truth on my 93, so that hopefully gets cleaned up. But, want in on that. And then Recore. Recore's coming out this September, I think. Hopefully that still holds true. And I think it's only a $40 title. So that's a much easier barrier of entry on that one that I'm really pumped for. Other than that, I'm kind of going through here and I just don't see anything that jumps out at me.
I'm kind of looking forward to Mass Effect Andromeda, but that's
2017 now.
Q1, yeah. I should probably finish up Mass Effect 3 first.
I should start Mass Effect 1. No, technically I did start it, and I got the first achievement, so it's been dived. But yeah, so yeah, look, I could go through the list of all the things I want, and you'll likely, Mike 92, just keep listening to the show, and you'll hear about all the games we buy. But yeah, they're just most of the stuff I'm focused on right now is a lot of the indie stuff, tell you the truth, because they're small, they're bite-sized, I can actually complete them. So like Cuphead, Below, those things are coming out this summer. Really stoked for those. And I can't wait to get on those smaller bite-sized indie titles versus the big AAAs. But those AAAs are going to be solid. All right. Mitt Real B, Tim Blair. You can't trick me this time. Now I know you're saying your name backwards. He has a question about game removal. He says, if you guys could remove one game from your card, what would it be? For him, it's NHL 09. It's the only game he'll never be able to get 50% completed because, obviously, server closures and just demolished that game. So he wants that off his card because he can't even get remotely close to that one. Mine, Karaoke Revolution American Idol Edition. I bought that for my wife thinking, hey, this will be fun. We can get into video games together. You like American Idol? You're good at singing. We can play this game together. And we played one song, unlocked like 3 achievements, and I have never touched it since. And I will not sing in that game. Like, that's just... I know you can cheese it and do a bunch of easy ways to get it, but boy, I really don't want to. I want that just gone. That and Apples to Apples. I started that after the stupid Facebook thing. I was dumb. I should have just let it go. That wasn't even that good of a game. I think I bought it for like $1. What about you, X? Any titles?
I mean, the easy answer is I wouldn't remove any. I mean, they're all in my tag. I've touched them. They should be there, but I don't know. I'm looking at my list. Maybe Elite Dangerous. Because I don't know.
Not your thing?
Yeah. I mean, it may be, but you guys Terrigan just talks about it so much like it's the greatest thing in the world, and I don't even know. I couldn't do like one achievement in that game. It's just so difficult. And I don't even know what it's about. It's like every other game, but in space.
Oh yeah, that game. I was like, wait, which one's Elite?
Yeah. Oh, you'll know.
But no, I wouldn't really. I don't think I'd remove any if I could. But what about you, Damien?
The only one I could think of, which again I was kind of with you, it's like everything's on there. I have the Guitar Heroes and all that I'll never finish. I don't care. Disney The Little Mermaid. That just because it was the 3, and then you never released the game.
Yeah.
Period.
That was unfortunate.
Yeah. So for the 3 achievements, and that was it, and 17 unobtainables. It was just yeah, if it wasn't for the hopes that there would have been even more, stuff coming out, I never would have probably put that one on my tag.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was supposed to be kind of like the Disney Fairies game, right?
Yep.
So it could have been really good, because I kind of like the Fairies game, to be honest.
It passes the time.
Yeah. My daughter loved it, actually. But... Oh, well,
Fantastic.
What do you do?
All right, final question, guys, and it comes from JJ Aldana, and he asks, what is your ultimate game sale wish list? Mine are all of the Call of Duty season passes because Activision is just a bunch of Nazis at this point. Of course, the ultimate game sale is going to, when this show is released, the sale will be live. It's going up on Tuesday, July 5th. It's going to run for the week. We are told that there will be over 250 titles on sale, and it is, a big Microsoft digital explosion to combat the Steam sale, get some products moving right after the holiday. 40 to 60% off, and you can watch the teaser video like I said, by the time you hear this, sales live. You know what all the prices are. So let's see how many of our titles that we want are on there. There have been some that you can tell in the video, and they're like Doom, Ark, Mirror's Edge, Catalyst, The Division, Battleborn, Dark Souls 3. All of those sound like fantastic games, but I don't think any of them are going to go below $30. $30 for a AAA, that's a great deal, but especially now that Tarragon and I are sharing, like it's easier to do 30 because we'll alternate in theory, right? That guy's made of money, so he just buys stuff like crazy. But that's the theory behind it. So it's a little bit easier of a proposition for me to buy those, but really $20 is my spot. And so, frankly, I'm not entirely sure what might hit $20 at that point. Like, you know what? Assassin's Creed Syndicate probably will get to $20. So that might I might be able to pull the trigger on that one. Tell you the truth, I kind of want to buy Dark Souls 2. That should probably be dirt cheap. I might be able to get that for $10 next week.
You can go punish yourself on Twitch some more.
Bingo. Yeah, I really got to get back to the original Dark Souls. Final Fantasy Type 0, hopefully, is real dirt cheap. That's been like $15 on Amazon, and it's like, I just don't want to pay for shipping. And I'd like it digital if I could, but Tarragon's already got it, so, I mean, what am I waiting for? The Halo 5 Guardians this week at $30. Ooh, I was real close on that one, but I can wait because I haven't done 4 yet. Yeah. Any titles you guys are chomping at the bit for?
I would like to see some DLC on sale.
Yeah.
Maybe for like Forza. You know, I like to pick up the DLC when it's on sale if I can, and it doesn't always go on sale. If they include it in this Ultimate Game Sale for at least 50% off.
They've been pretty bad about that recently.
Yeah. I would like to pick up some of the Telltale games as well. Like, I haven't started Minecraft Story Mode. If I could pick that up, I might.
Yeah, I can see it. I got two digital titles that just popped into my head that I'm hoping go on sale. Rocket League. I loved that trial, and it was close. They discounted it a bit. If they could just discount it just a little more, I'll get on it. And the Flame in the Flood, that looked awesome. And I wasn't ready to spend 15 on it. I'll spend 10. If that goes down to 10, I'll scoop that up. But those two for sure. Damien, what about you?
Yeah, I think the only thing I really, at this point, because of just all the stuff on my tag that I've started that I want to just finish is probably DLC. I really would like the Dead Rising 3 DLC, the Super Hyper Ultimate, whatever, Alpha Omega DLC pack just to go on sale because they've put everything else on sale. I just want that one so I can get it. I think I missed it the one time it went on sale. And then if there's just things on my tag where I'm like, oh yeah, I need the DLC for that to complete. I mean, some of the stuff is just like, even as I said, even when it gets down to $10 or $20, you're like, yeah, that's great. Is it really going to beat some of the stuff that I already have sitting in this pile? I remember I just picked up the Syndicate because Randy was talking about that. I'm like, yeah, you really love that. We can go play through that together. And yeah, somehow Deadpool got bumped before that did. So, you know, it's all that stuff. I'm just, you know what? I don't need to spend more money on games.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Awesome. Well, hey, thank you everybody who sent in questions, comments. We really appreciate it. We could not do this show without you listeners. All right, moving into news for the week. I'll start off with a comment on my friend feed by Salzbar. He said, there better be some Xbox fitness talk on this one, to which Damien, you replied, why does anyone just do workouts so we can beat their session scores? Ugh. And Angel SK Joe says, she's going to start it up again so you can beat her scores. Yay. What do you think, Damien?
There you go.
Oh, right. I'm happy. I just actually, before we started recording, I'm doing about 5 to 6 sessions a day. What I'll do is I'll start with a stretch, because you should always start with stretching. That's just good sense. Mm-hmm. Get a 5-star in that JJ Thomas workout. Then I'm right now working on the cardio, the boot camp abs, and so I actually have one friend in there that had some pretty low scores, so nice. I'm getting four challenges completed with them. So I'm now at 80 out of the 200 needed. So the only downfall is it's still going to take me forever to get the, 1,000 kilometers?
Yikes.
Yeah.
So what we're talking about here is the official word from Xbox that says Xbox Fitness is being retired. There's the post on support.xbox.com, and here it is. Xbox Fitness has been discontinued. The game will no longer be available for purchase from the store after June 27th, which was a few days ago. Existing Xbox Fitness users will be able to use the content they've purchased until June 30th, 2017. So 1 year. Between now and December 15th, Xbox Gold subscribers will still be able to access and play the over 30-plus workouts available for streaming for free. But as of recording today, July 1st, Xbox Fitness will no longer be available for download or play. This includes purchased content. At that time, Xbox Fitness will no longer be available for download from the store, and content will not be available for play from the store nor within the game. Xbox Fitness users will no longer have access to Xbox Fitness and the associated workout programs. So that means you guys can do what you've already downloaded, but you can't download any new or more or anything else?
Yeah, so there's 2 DLC packs that if you hadn't bought anything, like if you didn't buy the P90X or any of those things, there's 2 things that just came up online. There's this zombie pack. It's 2 workouts, and then there's the
mobility and strength training.
Yeah, and that's 4. So so basically what they're saying is on top of that, there's these like the Gatorade, JJ Thomas, the basketball dude, and then the QB from the Seattle Seahawks. I should know this off the top of my head.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah, so like that stuff, the body or the 10-minute cardio abs, those are all going to be available to gold people up until, the end of the year. And
December
then those 2 new DLC packs, you'll be able to play those through the end of Xbox Fitness, which is fine. The only thing is if you're doing 5,000 stars, do a bunch of those 5-minute stretch routines, because a 20-minute activity even if you 5-starred it every time, you got to play that 1,000 times.
Yikes.
Times 20 minutes. I mean, you're going to be ripped. You'd be totally jacked. You would be able to survive the zombie apocalypse there, Freem, but
I've been doing my own workout thing, just not getting achievements for it.
You better start.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh.
I was going to mention the zombies thing for my zombie news corner, but yeah, is that similar to have you done it, Damien?
Yeah.
Is it like Zombies Run, or what? Is it just getting in shape for a zombie apocalypse?
Yeah, well, so basically what's happened is there is the zombie apocalypse, and it almost reminds me of a porn for how bad the acting is. But you come in there and it's like, all right, you're gonna go survive, but to survive you gotta train. So all right, let's start doing push-ups, and then okay, jog in place, and then they go and run through this simulation gym that they've turned into. It's like if you went to Six Flags during Fright Fest, and there's poor makeup zombies, and here you gotta push them to the side and don't get bit, and yeah.
Well, that's
cheesy,
too bad.
but
I hope it wasn't. I wished it wasn't as cheesy as that, but
it is. You should just watch it, just to watch it. I'll give you a spoiler. There's no Frank West.
Oh no. Well, then I don't want it.
Unfortunate.
That man's covered wars,
That's what I've heard. So so it's being shut down now. Not that it's going to change anything, but there is an Xbox user voice forum petition saying "Do not shut down Xbox Fitness." Yeah. So I'll put that link in the show notes if you want to click on it and try to save it. But something tells me that's not going to happen.
Well, I'll speak up on that just in the sense that if you actually bought something like the P90X, right, you paid $60 for that content. And if you went through Beachbody, I think that's the company that develops it, and bought the DVD pack, okay, you buy the DVD pack, you can play the DVD pack for, well, forever. But here you've spent that same amount of money, and they're now basically saying, okay, well, if you had it, turning it off. I guess unless you download it. Well, even then, I think after the end of the year, the content's not going to work post server shutdowns. So people could have potentially spent hundreds of dollars on content for Xbox Fitness, and it's just going to be, okay, well, we're done.
Well, I think a lot of people were expecting it to be around for maybe not forever, but for at least the duration of the Xbox One.
Yeah.
Right.
Before the next generation. So,
I mean, I know Kinect is dead, but like it's still technically people own them.
Right.
Like,
well, and Xbox Fitness is literally like the best Kinect title on Xbox One, and now they're shutting it down.
Yeah.
It's really unfortunate.
Well, and especially on a Microsoft title, because I'm thinking back to 360. Well, honestly, Gears of War still works. I mean, your first gen almost launch titles from your 360 console are still online, and you're already pulling off this.
Yeah,
and it begs the question, like, what it could be. What's causing Xbox Fitness to not be sustainable? My only thought is it's the whole streaming part of it. Yeah. It's being way too costly to stream some of these workouts. Because if you want to download some of them, they're like, it could be a gig or more.
Yeah.
So that could be costly. But, I mean, if they're going to shut it down because of that, just make it the paid content available for people to buy and download to their console.
Right, yeah. Force them to pull it all the way down.
Yeah.
That's what I don't get is why... Because hosting this stuff on a server, that's not... I mean, yeah, there's a cost associated, but... It really, in the grand scheme of things, like, is that killing you? I don't know. If you instead of having them stream, have them just straight download.
Yeah.
Buy an external and put them on there.
Yep, and I know I've paid for a few workouts, so I've had the ability to download them. But the free workouts, those are not available for download at all. You have to stream those. So that's, and those are going away sooner than later. So maybe we should talk about, like, if people want to complete this game,
right? The plan,
what are they
how do you do it?
To complete it? And talking about this, I think as we get talking about this is going to sound really ridiculous for people to try to attempt to complete this, but let's go through the list. So, I identified 4 achievements that are going to be challenging. Number 1, the 200 drill challenges against friends.
Real-time rivalry?
Yep. I don't think that's going to be so bad if you're going for the other achievements. You probably get it along the way, but you do have to have friends.
And they have to share their workouts. That's the other thing. I have friends on there, but they don't share their workouts, so they don't show up on the challenges.
And you have to be able to beat your friend's score, which isn't so bad. Some of the times you have to beat their high score, some of the times it's their average score, or sometimes you just have to match what stars they get on a certain drill, which isn't so bad. But as long as you have friends and you're getting regular challenges, and you're going for some of the other achievements, you should be able to get it along the way.
So here's a little trick on that. If you're in the middle of a workout, you can skip back, and what will happen is those challenges show up randomly. So in theory, you could be in a session that might show up in a 10-minute routine that'll show up 4 challenges, and you can just kind of skip ahead and back. And if that challenge comes up, if you beat their challenge during the workout, it goes onto the tracker. You don't actually have to complete the workout to get the counter to move. Okay. So you because one of the things I think that I'm not 100% sure on this, but once you complete the workout, it will save that you've actually beat that person and they might not show up again. So if you have a friend whose workouts are showing up and they're fairly low, you might just want to stay in that workout. And then once you've completed that, activity to beat them on the rival, just rewind again and just see if another one pops up and try to, milk it for as much as you can. Because what might happen is after you've beat them on a number of occasions, they might stop showing up, and it's going to be beating yourself or beating the average of your demographic, which don't count towards the achievement.
Right. Yeah, it has to be friends.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I did want to say you don't have to complete the full workout to get that tracker, the real-time rivalry, to move. That will move during the thing. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I think that's true for a lot of the achievements on this game as well. But not the 100 stamp cards. That one you will need to complete the workout, get your stamps, and have those stamps applied to your card. Is that right?
Yes. Does the glitch still work?
Yeah, I believe it does. So the glitch you're referring to is J.J. Watt's recovery workout. Is that the one you're thinking about?
One of them where you can just keep the stars. You can keep reloading the stamps, so you don't actually have to go through and complete 100 stamps. Because what will eventually happen is you run out of stamps on the small workout routines, and then you have to start doing. You'd have to complete all of these challenges on these 20-minute, 30-minute workout sessions, which could take you 20 run-throughs to go through that half-hour workout, which that's just roughly 10 hours of working out.
For one, yeah. For just one stamp. Yeah, and I actually calculated it out. So they have 30 workouts available right now that you can't, that are available, and you can't buy any more. So a person starting today will have 30 workouts to, work on. And I think they average about 30 stamps a piece. Mm-hmm. So that's going to get you, if you decide, okay, I'm going to do all these free workouts, get every stamp in every workout, you're going to have 900 stamps. That's going to get you to card 50. You need to get to card 100. So that's only going to get you halfway there. So you pretty much need to use this J.J. Watt recovery trick in order to get the 100 stamp cards before December 15th. Which is, so hopefully you still have this available. So, yeah, you were saying there's a specific challenge in the J.J. Watt workout where if you, I think it's if you complete the workout, just complete it, you'll get 4 stamps on a card. So if you get, and you have to, I think it's, you have to complete the workout 10 times. So when you're 9 out of 10, you basically don't want to play that workout anymore. You just want to open it up, and then as soon as you can, just go to the end of the workout. You press pause, skip to the end of the workout, and it will show as completed, and you'll get your stamps for that challenge. But it's not actually going to complete the challenge for you since you didn't do anything. So it's a little bit of a bug, but it's very helpful for getting stamps.
Yeah.
And I think Tarragon did that trick as well, because I think he has all the stamp cards right now.
Yeah, I think he did too.
Maybe not did that for Leapfrog.
Yeah. The other thing that you probably want to complete before December 15th is the 5,000 stars. I think you mentioned before you want to stick to the 5-10 minute workouts so you can get as many stars as you can before the cutoff, because I think if you start today, you're going to need to get like 30 stars a day in order to get 5,000 before December 15th. Does that sound right?
Yeah, because I just got to 10%, which is 4,500 stars.
Yeah.
So I have 4,500 stars left to get. Yeah, I'm figuring it takes about 83 hours if you just do the 5-minute JJ Watts, but that has no challenges to go up, so it doesn't help you towards
Right.
performance or real-time rivalry. So I try to balance that. Do a workout that has some of that stuff, and then do a cooldown before the workout, then after the workout. So that way I'm averaging, because those are 5 minutes. So if you do
Right.
4 of those in a day plus 2 workouts, that's getting you 6 routines at 5 stars apiece. Yeah, that's 30 stars a day. So you're plugging along towards that. I'm getting up
Yeah.
about 1% a day, which is what you want to do.
Yeah. Well, and what you also want to do is try to do a lot of jumping and squatting, because that's the final big achievement for this game. And this is one where we can kind of have a little discussion. But peak performance is the achievement for jumping, squatting, or climbing for 100 kilometers. Which I don't know. I read this solution out on True Achievements. Some guy calculated out how many jumps you would need to do to actually complete this achievement, and he estimated it to be 240,000 jumps.
Jeez Louise.
I don't know about you guys, but trying to do that even within a year, that sounds a little bit dangerous to me. 240,000.
I don't know. Just how many days do we have left?
Well, we have about 365.
Well, no, cut that in half because we are only getting, because then you lose all those good workouts. That's only 1,333 jumps a day. You got 24 hours in a day. That's 55 jumps an hour. That's not too bad. That's like a jump every minute.
As long as you don't sleep. Yeah.
One jump a minute until the end of the year. Never sleeping. That's nothing. You could do one jump in a minute. Or you know what? You do 2 jumps in a minute and then you sleep for 1 minute.
Or
Right,
you
you
just
alternate.
jump 24 times. Wait, no, you have to jump. Yeah, whatever. Have an hour of jumping, you're good.
So yeah, I don't know. This actually kind of worries me because I think people are going to try to go for it like me, and doing that much, if you're not prepared for it, I don't know, doing that much work in such a short period of time could lead to some injury. I mean, don't you guys think? Somebody could get hurt.
Well,
That's dangerous.
I think I think they'll get real sore before serious damage is going to be done.
Yeah.
Something tells me that yes, there could be some repetitive stress injuries and stuff. Like I do that now because I do kickboxing now, and like I'll notice my back gets a little tweaky when I started, and I was trying to get my form right and all that stuff. But you are limited then on how much you can work out, and now that I've kind of figured some things out, got my form. Yeah, my muscles are still sore, but it's not preventing me from doing anything.
Right.
Now, if you get like injured, right, you do a jump and you twist your ankle when you land.
Yeah.
And I had a buddy who was playing softball last night and he twisted his ankle in the grass, and it's like that's just a freak accident. Those things are going to happen. You can have a freak accident using a fork. So that I don't think it's necessarily Xbox fitness. Now, I'd love to see someone from now until end of year to do this, and I mean those before and after pictures would be amazing.
Right.
Either that or, I mean, quite honestly, I think, and this is just my personal opinion, anybody that's really going to have a shot at doing that in that amount of time is got to be already in regular decent shape and in some type of fitness routine. As Freem's saying, you're doing kickboxing, I run regularly. It's, at some point it's like, okay, I'm going to stop doing my running. I mean, I'm on vacation. That's going to be my problem. I go on vacation in 2 weeks and I'm not bringing an Xbox and a Kinect. I'm even running in it's only a 5K, but if I had sat there and put all that time into doing Xbox fitness related, I could very well probably take out a big chunk, but it's that, well, nope, I'm doing all this stuff that doesn't count towards it. So you have to almost have the time to focus into just on Xbox Fitness and already in a regimen of you're going to be working out, you work out regularly anyway, because otherwise,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think
Yippers.
ultimately, if you are going to try to attempt this, it's going to be important. You gotta pace yourself. You got to kind of plan ahead, and definitely be careful. Like if you're getting to the point where you're in pain, you should probably stop.
Yeah.
Make sure
Right.
to drink a lot of water, hydrate.
That's true too.
No achievement is worth hurting yourself over.
Yeah.
Unless it's
All right.
Graw.
Unless it's Graw, for sure. So, we had a tweet out there from Phil Spencer who showed an image of the 1 millionth Elite controller that was made. They even put the little 1 million on the little front part there where you put your name if you're playing around in the design lab. 1 million Elite controllers are out there. How come I don't have one?
They've manufactured 1 million, but they actually haven't made it through distribution.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I'm sure they haven't sold 1 million.
No, I don't think so either. But they've produced 1 million. That's quite a lot. I
Well,
mean,
yeah.
that's a big win on their part.
That's telling me they're expecting to sell 1 million.
I think it's only a matter of time. I mean, it's
Probably.
immensely popular, and the people who already have them are breaking them already. So they need to replace them.
Yeah, they need spare parts.
Yep. But man, yeah, this is. If I don't have one before Christmas, you better believe this is on the list.
I don't know. I like those custom controllers that they announced. I want to go
Those
colors.
are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Those are cool. I wish they had more color options, but I think I just like the functionality of the Elite controller. All right, so we lost Damien. He had to take off to make sure his wife didn't murder him in his sleep. But show must go on. We had a little bit more news to talk about, like the new My Achievement tiers for Xbox Rewards. Did you get this email, Garrett?
I don't think I did.
Okay, so this is what it is. It's an email I got from the Xbox Rewards program, and it's all about achievements and gamerscore. So,
Nice.
yeah, very interesting. So here it is. I'll read their marketing piece. Your achievements, your choice. What's the point of Gamerscore if you can't use it to show off to your friends and your foes? We're taking bragging rights to a whole nother level with brand new badges for each My Achievements tier, plus an entirely new tier level for the very best players, Overlord. That name was suggested and chosen by our Xbox Live Rewards Twitter community, and now you're going to help us take it even further by actually deciding which badge to use for each tier. It's our way of saying thanks for both your skills and your dedication to the game. All right, so you are very much aware of the tier levels that they had initially, right? Where I think, was it 75,000 was Master?
Yes.
Right, and then they kind of broke it down from there. So they maintain each of those levels, kind of, but they've shifted
Okay.
them. Okay, so there is, they broke it down more finitely. Okay, so we'll start at the bottom. Recruit, gamer score 0 to, I'm going to say 3,000, but it's 29.99, right? So 0 to 3,000. You've got badge options that are like these little wooden circles, and you can vote. By the time this airs, you'll have a few days to vote if you're interested, but it doesn't matter. The idea is you're getting these tiers, and there's going to be a badge on your My Achievements tab for the Xbox Rewards program. That's kind of cool. So it's going to show you, just what level of gamer score you have, which actually the number of gamer score should be that. I don't know why you would need a badge, but anyway, they're kind of cool looking.
Right.
So recruit 0 to 3,000, little wooden badge. Then we move up to Stone in the Contender 3,000 to 10,000.
Okay.
You're getting there, right? You're getting there.
I'm on my way.
Yep. So, I guess I should. Let me give you their little tagline for each right? So recruit.
Okay.
The journey to greatness starts with a single achievement. They may be newcomers now, but they're on the verge of going pro. Oh my goodness!
With 10 gamer score. Okay. Yep.
Okay, you've completed 3 games. You were going pro. All right, contender. Ouch! Better watch your back because these fighters are coming for you. And even though they aren't undefeated, they've got a wicked 1-2 punch.
Okay.
That's just an unbelievable marketing garbage. All right.
Okay.
We move up to the champion tier. Champion tier is a beautiful white marble background design.
Oh, yes. Look at that.
Yep. 10,000 to 25,000. They're not regulars in the winner's circle, but when they do win, they let everybody know, and their career is definitely trending upward. Who writes this stuff?
I don't know. It's getting more ridiculous as we go up
Okay.
here.
Now we, then maybe that was silver and not white marble. I bet that was silver.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks like marble to me.
It does look like marble.
It's marble.
Oh, yeah, it's marble. Because then we're at bronze.
Yep.
Is legend tier, 25,000 to 50,000. What does it take to truly be legendary? Mythical skills and a knack for beating tough achievements. These folks know their way around the console and have their eyes set on greater things in the future. We're getting there, guys.
Yep.
We're getting there. Okay.
I'm sure a lot of people are laughing right now.
Building up to it. All right, 50,000. I mean, 50,000, like Terragon had said. That's it's a pretty good milestone, right? I mean, you're getting there, and that's kind of what the thing is referring to. Awesome. Here's where probably most of our listeners. Well, I don't even want to say most, but a good portion of our listeners are here in the master category, 50,000 to just under 100,000. So this one, master, is the silver medal. The force runs strong when these ones, they've mastered their powers, and these lords in the making are very close to ruling over us all.
All right.
And of course, then, if you haven't figured it out, 100,000 or greater, the Overlord tier. Here's the tagline. We're not worthy! We're not worthy! This brand new category was named by the community and is reserved for those who game like the gods, inspiring both fear and awe in the mere mortals they meet along the way. Step carefully, my friends. We're on hallowed ground here. 100,000. I am an overlord of you all, with every other listener who's on this podcast.
I, too, am an overlord of everybody.
Yeah. Let's see. Overlord of, my friend feed on the side of TA of 100 people. I am number 81. So the 80 of you who are overlords in front of me, well, good on ya. And what do you do for people like Stallion, Rand, Smirnov, all these guys who are over 1 million gamer score, right? Like,
they're probably like 0.1% of the population.
They're so small.
Yeah.
They are such a small population. You're right. You don't get your own tier for that. But hey, like I said, most of us all in the Overlord tier. I voted for the image. So the 3 images. One is a samurai like kabuki mask. One is the like a Viking Norse type horned helmet. And the other is almost looks like a Daedric helmet from Skyrim or Oblivion of the Daedric Knights. I voted on the Daedric one. I liked that. I like the spiky one. That's killing it in the votes right now.
Yeah, it is. I voted for the Viking-looking one, but probably not going to win at this point.
Nope.
Well, honestly, I'm a little depressed because apparently I have nothing more to strive for with my gamer score.
You've reached the pinnacle.
Yeah.
You are an overlord. I mean, you got to keep up with the Joneses though, because eventually they're gonna, have a 150,000 gamer score tier.
Well,
which you're over.
Yeah, and I'm almost to 200,000. So I don't know.
Baby steps.
Yeah, I guess so.
So there you have it.
What's coming after Overlord? Mega Overlord?
Supreme Master? Supreme Leader? Deity?
Universe Controller? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess million would just be God, right?
Probably God tier.
Yeah, God tier makes sense. Cool. So the industry, now that Scorpio has been released into the wild, GamesIndustry.biz had a great article. You guys should take a look at it. It's in the show notes. Essentially, just what the industry's reaction is to the console announcements. And of course, there's a little bit more on Scorpio because there's some specs out there, at least, or some suggested specs. The Neo, we're still waiting on a little more information, but companies like EA, Ubisoft, Take-Two, right? They all just talk about what they, how they feel about the system and what they're thinking, and it's pretty darn positive. Most of these developers or publishers are really excited about it. Whether that means because they're moving more because of, if they take the phone model where they're upgrading more often, people are turning over more. I don't know, but yeah, if you guys are interested, take a read of that article. It's pretty darn cool.
Well, and that's encouraging too, because
yeah, you need them to provide content.
We need the developers to be happy in order to produce content. Yeah. So I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, and to be honest, a lot of the reaction is look, it's not necessarily this generation's dead. It's, they're just iterating faster, but they're not going to abandon the old one as fast, right? They'll still have their life cycles, and they'll just kind of overlap. And the biggest and that's how I think it's going to play out. Again, we'll have to see, right? Scorpio might come out and they abandon the one in a year. It's entirely possible. I just don't think so, right? They haven't abandoned the 360 yet. They finally discontinued making them, but in my head, it's going to end up being like how cell phones are, right? You've got three systems worth of upgrades, right? You can get the new hotness. You can get the one that pretty much runs everything well. It's your main tier machine, and then you got your value machine that it's going to get some texture pop. It's going to be a little slow, right? Load times, might not be as crisp on the images. Not doing 4K, but it'll still work, and you can play your games. So that's kind of how I envision, this console life cycle to start rolling out. And it's just gonna be expensive for us.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that. And it could be it could be somewhat of an experiment too. There's obviously a need to have the 4K support, and there's VR in the pipeline, so they needed some kind of a console to be able to support all of that. People are gonna, they're filling a need basically. But are they gonna keep doing this every 2 or 3 years to come out with a new, better console? I don't know. Maybe. Right. Maybe it's just a one-off thing, and they're going to stick to the every 10 years console cycle,
like a hard break or something. I don't know.
It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Definitely.
Agreed. So this week, BioShock the game opened a Twitter account, and I was like, "Oh, that's weird," because the first tweet was something like, "Am I doing this right?" Very common as a first tweet. And I was like, BioShock did that. That's weird. How does BioShock not have a Twitter account right now?
Right.
And so I clicked on it, and of course, all the retweets and replies to it are, interesting timing. I wonder if there's some news coming that BioShock would need a Twitter account. And sure enough, one day later, we get the announcement of the BioShock collection. All 3 games remastered in one collection for the Xbox One. Are you pretty excited about that?
Well, I'm sure you are, because now you can wait to play BioShock until you get the whole collection, right?
That's the thing. I've got them all in the 360 already, so it's are they really going to look that much better? I'm not sure how much this remaster treatment's going to be, but boy, I'm playing it now, and I'm not standing super close to my TV, so I don't see a lot of the just grossness of how the textures look, but I got up close because I'm using a camera, and I'm looking at some of the spider splicers or the lead heads and stuff, and it's yeah, boy, you could use a little better texturing on your face now, but like I'm still getting the sensation. It's still great.
Right.
Got a tweet here from Mike Spindler, Mike Spin 92, and he said, "At Freemhole, don't blame you, but I do blame you that you waited so long to play it. It is such a good game. I will be buying this for sure." Because he asked, "Are you going to wait on your challenge of BioShock because of the announcement?" I told him, "No, I'm playing on the 360. I just actually restarted it, and I could not possibly wait until September. It is so good." To which he replied what I just mentioned, that he doesn't blame me for not starting it, but I can't keep waiting for the remaster. It's time, and I've already dived this. It has to be taken care of. Whether or not I do too, though, that's the question.
Yeah, you might like it so much that you just have to pick up the Mastered Collection.
Stack them.
Yeah, get that stack. I think if I had a choice, I'm not very far into any of the BioShocks. I played the first one on PC a while ago, but if I had the chance to play it on the Xbox One or the 360, I'd probably go with the Xbox One just for the prettier experience. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. So we'll just do a quick rapid fire on these last 4 items. They are essentially game announcements that might interest you. I'm going to start with Kickstarter because System Shock has added the Xbox One to their console release plans if the Kickstarter is successful. As of now, it has not reached its goal as of recording, but it's very close. It's at just over 700,000, and it needs to get to 900,000. So it's got 26 days left as of recording. So when this episode releases, that will be 21 days. But yeah, System Shock, guys. It's coming to Xbox One. I don't even think that's a stretch goal. I think that's a legit, there you have it. Minimum to order and get the game, $30. A $30 backer pledge will get you a digital copy of the game, and that's intended to come out December of 2017. So there you have it. Kickstarter, if you're interested in System Shock. I know that is quite a popular one. Speaking of Kickstarter, my Kickstarter from, this was over a year ago, right? We got Mighty Number 9. I finally got that one in my pocket.
Yep.
But the other one I did, Road Redemption. From Dark Seas Interactive. This is the spiritual successor to Road Rash. Did you ever play Road Rash on, Sega?
I might have.
It's the motorcycle combat game where you drive really fast and then you get to wail on dudes with pipes and stuff.
Yeah, no, I do recall that. Yeah.
Game was great. Loved that game. So I backed this Kickstarter. And there have been versions, alphas already out there on PC, and they're announcing a release date for the versions that I care about. So, PC, Mac, and Linux coming out October 15th, 2016. So October 15th of this year, you'll get to play this on your PC, and us Xbox One and PlayStation 4 owners will get it January 15th. 2017. So this will be likely one of my first games of 2017. Now, there is some bad news. They have announced that they are, I guess they haven't officially announced, but they said, guess what? Not doing the 360 or the PlayStation 3 versions of this game.
Okay.
Come on, I don't blame them at this point, right? Yeah. That was initially on their pitch. I think they thought it was going to get done faster. With the adherence rate that we have, go ahead and abandon those. Just make sure I get the one version, right? I don't. It wasn't a special sign up for that. But let's see. It was started on Kickstarter in 2013 was scheduled to launch August of 2014. Yikes!
This is just a bad reputation for Kickstarter games.
Yikes!
Get delayed and delayed and delayed.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's got a date now. It's been delayed multiple times, so who knows if that's gonna.
I know.
That's gonna stick, but we've got our first date. One other thing then is Press Play. So the company that Microsoft had folded, the makers of they're Max and the Curse of Brotherhood people, right? And Kalimba.
Yep.
So they have become Lightbulb Games. That is their new studio name, and they have announced their first game. It is called Pioneers. And if you remember the fan vote back in August of last year, you had 3 games. Project Dwarka, which was the underground dwarf fighting game. There was Project Knoxville, which was the winner, and that was your survival type arena game. And there was Project Karoo, which was the weird car building, kind of like Lego Minecraft construction game.
Yep.
That's now called Pioneers. That's what this one is.
Okay.
They took Project Karoo, which I believe they assumed, was pretty much done, as a just creation tool. You build your vehicle, you fly it around, you do whatever, and have fun with it. And so they're launching that now. It's only being launched for PC. There's no console release right now. But they may turn around and do it. I know the Microsoft accounts were all giving a big thumbs up to Lightbulb Games. So, hey, good on you guys for getting back on your feet and salvaging some of the work that you had done with the Microsoft properties. So Project Karoo is now called Pioneers, and if you liked that and voted for it, you'll have an opportunity to play it.
Very cool.
So we've got and this I saw this on RealGameMedia.com. It was a Valve News Network feed. Okay. And the essentially, they're showing Valve games and stuff, and it's talking about kind of how to bring things from the games. If some of their assets from other games into their little engine thing, and he's looking at screenshots and stuff, and there is an image. It's just dumb. Okay, so there's a screenshot, right? And he's like, "Oh, okay, look at these files that I have," and on the side there is a folder that says Left 4 Dead 3, and it's like cut to the point where like it's just tucked underneath there, and it's like, okay, how this is going to be sent out to the world, like how does that thing slip? Now that being said, it could just be a file of like concepts, right? Like,
right.
Hey, there's ideas that I want to put in the game. I don't know, but like, and I think back in the day, there were some tours of the Valve studios, and there was like Left 4 Dead 3 assets on one of the computers that somebody overlooked and stuff. So I mean, come on. I don't know. That one, I know Valve can't count to 3, but that one seems relatively straightforward to do that one. I feel like they came out with Left 4 Dead 2 real quick.
Yeah.
After 3, but who knows? Left 4 Dead 3 could be coming.
Maybe they're just going to call it Left 4 Dead Redemption or something like that.
There you go.
Just so they don't have to count to 3.
Okay, and now finally we'll move into our feature content for the week. Real quick, and we can have a quick little discussion here, X, whether this actually impacts you or not, but are you familiar with the reputation system?
I am, sir. I have voted down many people who have offended me.
Yeah, right. You are part of the problem. I think. I mean, I have good. Right. I think I'm like top. Right. I don't typically play online, and people I do play against, turns out I'm a nice guy. I don't like to teabag. And maybe I'm not very good, so I don't draw the ire of people.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of games that just came out recently that are very competitive in the multiplayer area, most particularly Overwatch.
Okay.
Massively popular right now. And what is happening is the Xbox reputation system is causing some serious issues with the Overwatch community. Now, here's the thing. So this is going on Reddit right now, and there's tons of people complaining about it. And yes, the system is pretty broken. What ultimately is happening is people who are playing Overwatch, and because it's a relatively small subsection of players in each match, right? It's 5-on-5.
Yep.
And those 5 people kind of join up, right? If you have people you like playing with and are good, then you tend to kind of stick around with them and play for a little bit. And if you happen to be good at the game and just kick the crap out of people, then they're going to get pretty salty and say, well, you know what? I don't want to play against good people anymore, so I'm going to avoid them.
Yeah.
Okay. But then they ask, well, why do you want to avoid them? And the easiest way to do it is just to say, well, they're cheating, or I didn't like their comments, or I didn't like their gamer tag, unsportsmanlike. You have to put a reason.
Right.
So you got all these people who are just saying, yeah, I just don't really want to play. I want a lower competitive type game, just a casual game. But there's so many players out there who are real serious about it, and I can't get away from them. Now, recently, Overwatch just came out with a more competitive ranking mode, and things just got way worse because people have to do their 10 games to try and seat themselves, and then they want to climb the ladders, right? It's a season type thing. So they want the wins, they want to be competitive, and if you can shift the deck in your favor by downvoting others or avoiding them so you don't get matched up.
Right.
So now what ends up happening is a lot of players out there, and maybe they are just a bunch of jerks, right? It's entirely possible. But a lot of people are getting questionable reputation, or the needs work part of their reputation.
Right.
Now that's not so bad when you're just playing single player games, right? It doesn't matter. But here's the issue. Many matchmaking services will disallow people with bad reputations from joining the matchmaking, or they try to put them into lobbies with other people who need work. And so you get either long times looking for matches, or you just don't find a match, period. And so these people are now essentially being boxed out of their own game because either they were too good and offended some people, or they're a bunch of raging jerks and they deserve to be kicked out.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it's more of the former, and that people's reputation are being negatively affected by, it doesn't even have to be that many comments, and it kind of takes a look at the history of games, and that's ultimately what is being reported. Now, again, this is relatively anecdotal, so I don't have hard facts. Again, this is through a bunch of Reddit postings.
Right.
But it sounds like, they're not only going to look at Overwatch and the amount of down negative votes you're getting on this. They'll go back and look at Halo Master Chief Collection, or Halo 3, or Gears of War, or whatever. And they'll keep going back. And if you have a history of being reported, then they'll probably downvote your reputation. But if you've always been good at competitive games, then you likely have been downvoted a bunch of times.
Right.
I mean, I know I got downvoted for a few things, and I was terrible. I mean, it was just garbage. And so ultimately, people are getting killed by this system. Now, I will provide one small little ray of sunshine. I've seen on multiple occasions people suggesting ways to improve your reputation, right? The way you improve is by playing against others and diluting out your population and having them not negatively vote you down. Okay, well, so what's the best way to get multiple users, especially when you have issues connecting in multiplayer? You get onto a free-to-play game. And the easiest one that people have been suggesting, Neverwinter.
Okay.
If you go into Netherwinter, jump into a city, and just hang out in the streets, every single person who runs by you counts as a person that's played a multiplayer game with you. And so your multiplayer list of who have played a game with you starts to increase quite rapidly. And so that is a way to kind of balance out a lot of the negativity, is by just, because nobody, if you see a dude standing next to a tavern door and, you're not going to stop and be like, I'm going to downvote you because I hate your face. Like, you're just going to run past them. Well,
Right.
okay, now you count as a player who did not think his behavior was atrocious.
Yeah.
So if you guys anyone out there is having issues with the multiplayer and the matchmaking based on negative reputation, try to boost it with free-to-play games like Neverwinter, where there's a lot of bodies moving around. I assume stuff like DC Online might work, although getting into a server would be tough. Maybe even preview program things like Ark Survival Evolved. That there's no achievements, people can be relatively casual. I don't know, but you need to find other people to play with so that your numbers get a little better.
Well, that's kind of unfortunate, though. You have to do kind of a lot of extra work just to make sure your reputation isn't being negatively impacted by a few people.
Yeah. I will, there was one series of comments in one of the feeds that I'm going to read because I thought it was hilarious. And the guy's Reddit name is Music Nerd, but he says, I got the name, the gamer tag Pepsi during the gamer tag purge, and people are now reporting my gamer tag trying to get it changed. And his reputation has dropped to needs work because people want his gamer tag of Pepsi. And so there's a reply by the D site. He says, "Oh, it's because we all know Coca-Cola's better." And he says, "I can't even tell you how many messages I get saying this." Right, the Pepsi is getting people who say, "Well, Coke's better." Downvote, negative rep. And then from the Peanut Gallery, Echo from Xbox World War, RC is a valid third choice.
Yeah.
To which Cro-Magnon says, a vote for RC is just a vote for Pepsi. I love Reddit.
Oh,
It's just great. But still, I mean, it's stupid things like that, right? I know there's somebody out there who has the name Pizza, right? And it's like, oh, that's a really cool name. I want it. Downvote. I hate your gamer tag. It's negative rep. It's just crazy. And a lot of these people who are asking, right? I mean, the first thing that comes to mind are people are like, well, guess what? You're probably a jerk. My guess is you're teabagging. My guess is you are, rage quitting. You are yelling at teammates who are not performing. That might be true for some of these individuals. A lot of the stuff that I'm seeing on here is just people who tend to be good at the game, and others who just don't want to play with them. So it's a huge bummer. Now, Xbox by itself doesn't. I mean, Major Nelson even replied to one of these people saying, "Hey, I'll bring up your concern to Xbox support." Well, thanks, Major, but that's not really the issue. Yes, the reputation system provides a bad reputation, but it's the games themselves who have set up the matchmaking and are using the reputation to put filters on that matchmaking. And so if you really need to address it and try to get it fixed, you got to talk to Blizzard. You got to talk to Take-Two. You got to talk to whoever's running the servers, Bungie, Activision, whatever. Yep. You've got to talk to them if the reputation is blocking you from getting out. They might do an investigation. You might have to prove things, right? Like, you got people who say like, the things you said, your in-game voice was offensive. I don't even own a mic, is what I've seen some people say. Like, how is that possible, right?
Right.
Your gamer tag's offensive. It's Pepsi. How is that offensive, right?
Yeah.
It's harder to do unsportsmanlike stuff, right? Because that could be seen in different ways. Yeah. But again, it's kind of a bummer.
Well, it seems to me there needs to be like an extra layer at monitoring the reputation system. I used to play League of Legends quite a bit, and they had the same kind of problems. People get reported just because they were like just smashing the other team because they were really good. And I know League of Legends, what they ended up doing is basically creating an online system where people could just go in and basically donate their time to reviewing certain situations where people were reported multiple times, and just to make sure that they were actually, doing bad things. So people get reported for, bad language or harassment, that kind of thing. And the people reviewing the data, they were given like a chat history, and they were given basic stats for the game. And if someone was reported for bad language, you go and look at all their any message they put in the game, and like, oh yes, they said the S word and the F word there, and they called this guy a mean name, so yes, that's valid. Or somebody could just be like, I see no evidence of harassment here. This guy doesn't deserve that bad comment, and then they'd go on their merry way.
It'd be nice. I mean, it's a lot of legwork.
It is, but that might need to be what happens, because I mean, it's obviously affecting some people, and in a competitive game like Overwatch, when you have people trying to climb a ladder and be at the very top, they need to be able to access the game with the other top players. Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's how the system works, right?
Yeah.
And that's inherently what a ranked based system is relies on. So we'll have to see. I'll kind of keep our eyes on it and see how that plays out. Because a lot, especially with a lot of these games being multiplayer only, if you can't get into a match because your reputation's terrible, well, guess what? You can't get those achievements. Mm-hmm. You're blocked from the game essentially.
Yep.
That's a huge bummer. So yeah, hopefully that gets itself fixed. Alrighty. We're in the home stretch here, X. Let's just move into our feature topics. I know Terrigan has got a leaderboard update. Take it away, Terrigan.
Hi folks, it's Terrigan here with the True Achievements leaderboard update for June 2016. Firstly, an apology. I did not have enough time to set up the Z2Z leaderboard tracking that I wanted, but it is still on its way. Major milestones for June. Smirnov crossed the 2.4 million TA mark. Celtic Force crossed the 1.2 gamerscore mark. Randall Thor, as we mentioned earlier, has crossed 1 million gamerscore. Celtic Force also crossed 1,400 games completed, and Monstrosity crossed 1,000 games completed and takes 7th spot on that particular leaderboard. The top scorers for the month, Dallas the Dude scored 61,000 TA. Dallas the Dude also scored 34,000 gamerscore and completed 36 games to take 5th spot overall on the completed games leaderboard. So Dallas the Dude had a busy month. Milky Bars Are On Me started 53 games this month, so the games started leaderboard is an interesting one to watch, particularly now this month with the Bean Dive starting. Notable jumps, or notables on the leaderboards. Smirnov is less than 6,000 gamer score away from taking number 1 spot from Stallion 83. This will probably blow out a little bit, as Smirnov, I understand, is going on holiday for a little while, but I think this is one of the closest points Smirnov has ever been on the gamer score leaderboard to Stallion, so that's an interesting one to watch. Smirnov is also on the verge of crossing 1,500 games completed. Dallas the Dude jumped 2 spots to 8th on the Gamerscore leaderboard with his massive amount of points he put on earlier. Carnage has continued around the 850,000 Gamerscore mark. A group of 9 people are battling it out, with Sangriaz jumping 2 spots to take the lead at 15th by only 8 points, and Raphael GRN jumping 3 spots to take 17th. And that wraps up the leaderboard report.
Thanks for that, Terrigan. That was awesome. That was quite the month of June there. I can't wait to see what July brings with all the bean dives. I assume there's going to be lots of, well, I guess those guys already have tons of games on their tags, so they're likely not diving that much more, but who knows. And now for Knobs and Discos, our unobtainable and discontinued achievements. We've got quite a list here, and so I'm going to try and do it, even though Crandy is the, kind of the guy. So I'm going to try and figure out what his notes mean, because he gets all the dish, and I have to decipher it. But what I'm seeing here, Imperia Online, the Windows 8 achievements, all of them are working again. So, so if you still need those, that's a good sign. The lockdown achievement in Overwatch, that is working. There was a patch to fix that one, and sure enough, they got it up and going. So you Overwatch friends and players out there can now take care of that one. There's a Kick and Fennec. Here's some bad news. Kick and Fennec, the Gear Collector achievement, has been ruled unobtainable. Yeah. It's currently glitched. The last piece of special gear does not appear in the level select menu. And so we're reaching out to the devs. Hopefully we can get that thing taken care of and fixed. Finally, the upload and share in College Hoops 2K8 has been discontinued.
Wow, I'm surprised
Took
that
this
it lasted
long,
that long.
Right? 2K8.
That's 8 years ago.
Man, that's a long... Gosh, when you say it like that, too, that just sounds crazy. 8 years. Yikes.
Well, if you miss those, I don't think you have anybody to blame but yourself.
Yeah, that's pretty gratuitous. Well, we've got game delay and backwards compatibility roundup. Big delay here. Big delay. And it is the Batman Return to Arkham collection. They're not ready. There was a post on their forums. It says, after reviewing the progress of the project, the team at WB Games has decided to delay the release of Batman Return to Arkham to give the team at Virtuose Games additional time to deliver a polished Batman Arkham game experience. We do not have a release date yet, and we'll be sure to communicate that with you when we figure it out. So that's bad news.
Yeah.
They're delaying it, and they don't know when it's going to be available. Yikes. So who knows, huh?
Yeah.
I know Terrigan's kind of a bummer about this. And do you think this is simply just the dreadful PC ports that they can't get working, or do you think this is more broad-reaching for the Xbox One and PlayStation 4?
I have no idea, but I mean, if it's just that they need to make sure it works, take all the time you need.
That's true. I do prefer. Who is it? It wasn't Miyamoto. It was the Nintendo guy. Anyway, he said a broken game is broken always, but a delayed game is good at some point.
Yeah. Wise words.
Something like that. I think I butchered his quote. So let's move into backwards compatibility. We had 4 games that were added to the backwards compatible list: Bloodforge, Mars Warlogs, Grip Shift, and Go-Go Break Steady. I don't have a clue. I've heard of Mars Warlogs before, but the other 3, I think I've heard of Bloodforge too.
Yeah, Bloodforge. I have no idea about the others either, though.
Nope, me neither. I got 3 zombie news items. One we've already talked about, zombies for the Xbox Fitness, right? We took care of that one. Getting ripped running from zombies. I'll have to put in the Zombie Run app as one of my zombie news items here. We've got Trouble in Zombopolis 2, the Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2. They're adding the second part to the Trouble in Zombopolis with new content, free update, right? The same as the first game.
Okay,
all this good stuff.
Yeah.
They've got community challenges. There's something called a progressometer, which is like how well you're doing against the community challenges. There's gonna be new guys. What is this? The Rocket Chomper. He gets and then it essentially has to do with pizza delivery.
Okay.
As far as okay.
That game is crazy.
It is just crazy, right? Let me try to read this to you because I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is just insanity. Okay, so in the Backyard Battleground, there are new challenges called delivery time challenges. And these are specifically your speed from getting from one place to another. Now, if you're a plant, you'll be delivering chomper pizzas. If you're a zombie, you deliver zomburgers. And the two creatures who are making these deliveries, the rocket chomper and the delivery goat, are I'm like, what is happening here? So yeah, to all you Plants vs. Zombies friends out there, Plants vs. Zombies 2, Trouble in Zombopolis, Part 2 is out there. I don't see any list of achievements, unfortunately. So I don't think we're getting anything in that regard.
Well, what's wrong with them?
Wow, there's a lot of nerfing here, too.
Yeah.
There's a ton of characters in this game. I'm just looking at the patch notes here, and it's like all over the place. There's so many things getting tweaked. I'm surprised they put that much work into balancing that game. I mean, I appreciate it, but it's just so silly and goofy. Like, I suppose at some point someone's going to figure out what's the best character,
right?
And they just need to fix it. So,
Unfortunately, like I said, no sign of achievements, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they won't happen. Last piece of zombie news, and I told NBA Kirkland that I would mention this because he retweeted it, and it was a retweet from Ryan McCaffrey, actually. But it's a Yelp review of a pizza place. And there's a misspelling in here. So if it's in the zombie news, you can only imagine what it is. But I'll read the review. It's a 5-star review. I mean, the guy enjoyed it.
Yeah.
This is my favorite pizza shop outside of Naples and New York. A really amazing quality food, very authentic pizza. All of the employees, when I entered there, were dead, which made communication with them a bit difficult, but it was well worth it, and I was happy for the nice, quiet atmosphere, which is the opposite of what I expect in anything aiming in Italian authenticity. But it's a great improvement, just like them crafting pizzas for you instead of wasting the best, blah, blah, blah. And it goes on and on. So he went in there, and they were all dead.
They were dead.
They were all dead. And it was really difficult to order a pizza because they were dead. But he enjoyed how quiet it was. Okay. The typo was deaf. They were all deaf. And so I could see how that would be also difficult to interact with. But yes, I can also see how that would be quiet. I like dead. I think you came into the pizza place, there were some zombies, and you're trying to ask the zombies for pizza.
What would a zombie put on a pizza? Brains, obviously.
It's got to be. But would they slice them like pepperonis?
Yeah.
And I think, unfortunately, just the nature of being a zombie, you would order a brain pizza, but it would come out as a supreme because you'd have pieces falling off onto it, like fingers and
teeth,
ears.
Yeah.
Like, oh, bummer. Yeah, or maybe you'd say it's a bonus. I don't know. You think they cook the brain?
I don't know.
They gotta simmer that up just a little bit, right? You want a little crisp to your brain chip, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah, they could just run it through the oven with one of their arms attached.
So there you have it, guys. Zombie pizza place out of I don't even know where the place was. I should try to track that review down. Anyway, it's about time we wrap up this show. Thanks, Garrett, for taking some time and spending the evening with me.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Appreciate it. If it comes to challenges and Connect-based achievements, you're my man.
Yeah, I will be your guru. Count on me.
And I also want to thank everyone out there for listening. We hope you enjoyed our podcast. Like I said, there'd be opportunities for you as a community member to get on the show. So send us messages that you're interested. We'll see what we can do. We've got a list of people already lined up. So if you're I want to be on that list, here's your chance. In the meantime, though, oh my gosh, it would be so helpful if you could give us a review at your favorite podcast listening app. Boy, that really helps spread the word. And you know what? If you're on the show, it'll make other people be able to listen to it because you're spreading the word about the show. Other ways you can do it, of course, Twitter. You guys are great using Twitter, and that's fantastic for us because we can reply to you very quickly. We've got that Facebook group. We've got the TA leaderboard where you can find the like-minded Z2Z listeners, and we've got some fun news coming up toward the end of the month. Keep listening to the show. I'll leave you with that. Of course, our website, a wonderful resource, Z2Z.com. You can find our show notes, credits, links. I put articles and stuff in there that you need to take a look at, and that Yelp review for Zombie Pizza. It's literally just a paragraph, but it's kind of funny. You can also use our Twitter, like I mentioned, at Z2Z, ZEDTOZED, or our email works, contact@Z2Z.com. Garrett, you sent us an email there for the Achievements Month class.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. I definitely couldn't do this show without all of the gaming sites that are out there that help us with achievements. Of course, TrueAchievements.com, but this week also got help from GameSpot, IGN, GamesBiz, Real Games Media. Boy, there's just so many out there. Game Informer. You guys are all fantastic, so keep up the great work. And keep posting all that good stuff to Twitter because I can follow it real time and just gobble that stuff up. And of course, where would we be without Microsoft and their wonderful Xbox console? So, on behalf of Damien, who had to take off before he got yelled at, X Towers, whose cat is likely bothering him right now, this has been Brandon. And to all you achievement hunters and Gamerscore junkies out there, thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you next episode.
See you later.
Oh, Project Spark's up. Okay, I'm going to go play that for a bit. See you guys. Just got to do my kills. My weekly. I'm just kidding.
There'll be time. But yeah, let's hurry up because I want to get on too before it crashes again. So you'll sound like a peach.
A peach? What does a peach sound like?
Really good. I'm leaving a pause in case Terragon wants to cut this out.
Oh, okay.
He's not a big fan of this company.